my. Babylon is falling, you ooh steadily calling. Get your knee off my neck, I can't breathe, Derek Chauvin. You better take caution, cause your hearts they wanna soften. Destruction is coming to America, looking like Sodom. Babylon is falling, you ooh steadily calling. Get your knee off my neck, I can't breathe, Derek Chauvin. You better take caution, cause your hearts they wanna soften. Destruction is coming to America, looking like Sodom. Babylon a whore and it's time for divorce. We came here as slaves, we was brought here by force. And you always hate my people and you have no remorse. And your wealth comes from Judah and the slaves were the source. Republicans and Democrats plotting against us. Both sides push a shot, another plot to just kill us. Yeah, Babylon gon' fall, judgment's already started. Who created race? The white man that's often discarded. Babylon the Great is the mother of harlots, and no president can save her, destruction coming regardless. And the nation's drunk from her wine, her ways are just lawless. And if you love this country, you ignoring the prophets. Your ooh will make her desolate with plagues and with fire, and the heathens will mourn, her destruction is dire. Trump and Biden are some puppets, fools trusting these liars. And the whore is no more, is abruptly desired. Yeah, whoa, oh my, yeah. Look, oh my, yeah. Oh my, yeah. Oh my. Babylon is falling, you ooh is steadily calling. Get your knee off my neck, I can't breathe, Derek Chauvin. You better take caution, cause your hearts they wanna soften. Destruction is coming to America, looking like Sodom. Babylon is falling, you ooh is steadily calling. Get your knee off my neck, I can't breathe, Derek Chauvin. You better take caution, cause your hearts they wanna soften. Destruction is coming to America, looking like Sodom. Yeah, whoa, oh my, yeah. Look, oh my, yeah. Ay, oh my, yeah. Oh my, whoa, oh my, yeah. Look, oh my, yeah. Ay, oh.
And one of the elders saith unto me, Weep not. Behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the root of David, hath prevailed to open the book and to loose the 7 seals thereof.
Ay, bolder than a lion, bolder than a lion. I ain't bowing down to Baal, cause we bolder than some lions. Keeping the commandments that'll lead us back to Zion. I ain't bowing down to Baal, cause I'm bolder than a lion. I don't care if you offended, yeah, I said what I intended. I said it and I meant it, scripture cannot be amended. Don't care if I'm unfriended, yeah, I mean it and admit it. Doesn't matter really how you feel, the Bible will transcend it. The truth is unexpended and the truth should be commended. You ain't walking in the truth, the thing you choose to be demented. Yeah, following your who is not religion, it's decision. And we keeping the commandments, they not prone to abolition. Because we did not bow to Rome and give them our submission. Man, they killed so many Hebrews in the Roman Inquisition. Following the Torah is not religion, it's decision. And Yahushua kept the law, cause it's not prone to abolition. Bolder than a lion, bolder than a lion. I ain't bowing down to Baal, cause we bolder than some lions. Keeping the commandments that'll lead us back to Zion. I ain't bowing down to Baal, cause I'm bolder than a lion. Ay, bolder than a lion, bolder than a lion. I ain't bowing down to Baal, cause we bolder than some lions. Keeping the commandments that'll lead us back to Zion. I ain't bowing down to Baal, cause I'm bolder than a lion. Yeah.
Chapter 28. The wicked flee when no man pursueth, but the righteous are bold as a lion.
Hardy har har. If they like that mess, they're starving for some real hoofing. I'll kill 'em. Music, maestro, please. E flat from the top.
Trust the Most High, Yahweh.
Hey, youngster. every Yahoo, nothing at all can do to me. Yahusha, you're my king. All the great.
Hey, Yaxer.
All esteem to Yahuwah in the highest. That track I'm really excited about, y'all. That is something different. All esteem to Yahuwah and Yahusha. I hope y'all are doing well. Praise Yah. Praise the Most High. I'm really excited to jump into this lesson with you guys. So before I jump into this, though, please be sure to hit the like button. Okay, hit the like button. Please hit the like button.
Come on now, dog. Come on, man.
Hit the like button. It's really appreciated. Put some stank on it.
Hit me again, Ike, and put some stank on it.
Yada yada. Okay, all right. So Twice Natural is here. Hey sis, good to see you. All esteem to the Most High. Put some stank on them likes. Khan, Shalom says, good to see you. Yoruba is here. Beloved sister Kiara is here. Yummy is here. Barbara Knight is here. Shalom. Batia Yasharal is here. Shalom sis. Kailis is here. Shalom. Tanya Johnson is here. Oh, I'm sorry. Salaki. Tanya Thompson is here. Shalom sis. Good to see you. Shamika is here. Shalom. Charlie Yahuwah 89. What up, Aki? Shalom. Let's see. Tiffany is here. Shalom sis. Barbara Knight is here. Unapologetically real. Samuel, Annie K. Hey sis, good to see you. Esther is here. Hey beloved, listening on the road. All esteem to Yahuwah. Amiya Yaki Yada is also here. Hey sis, love you so much. Stephanie is here. Shalom to you, sister. Melanated by Yahuwah is here. Welcome back, sis. Good to see you. King Shaq Yahuda is here. Shalom. Idya Maccabee Jones is here. Shalom. Revelations of Yasharal. Hey. Shalom. Okay. All right, y'all. Okay. All right. Yada Yahuwah. All right. We're ready to go. So what are we going to be talking about today? We're going to be talking about the house Negro. I mean, you guys could tell from the dang thumbnail where we going with this. I think it's important to understand that not everybody that looks like you is of you. You know what I'm saying? And I talked about that a little bit on my previous stream that I just did not too long ago. You feel what I'm saying? But it's important that you understand the psychology of what makes the house Negro so you are able to navigate around the house Negro. Because sometimes the house Negro is more dangerous than the white man. Because the white man and the Edomite is hiding behind the house Negro. Thinking, you in your mind, you see a black man and you think, I can trust this black man. You think you can trust the black woman. But a lot of times the house Negro is the tool of the white man. So though you see a black face, there is a white slave master, there's a white colonizer, there's a white Edomite working his puppet strings, which is why you need to understand how to detect and understand these kind of people. Okay, so let me share my screen. I'm going to pull my presentation and I'm going to just take you through some of these many house Negroes you are going to see, especially on the conservative side. Okay, like Candace Owens, Officer Tatum, Jesse Lee Peterson, all these people are your enemies because everything they do is for the white man and to get the white man's approval. Okay. Also, like your Uncle Ruckus is and your Samuel Jackson's character from Django Unchained. Okay. So it says Colt 45 and the modern day house Negro. Okay. So your raccoons. Okay. Your Uncle Toms, your Sambos, your butter biscuit eaters. Okay. Praise God. Praise white Jesus. Them folks. Okay. So in this study, we will take a closer look at the black conservative. I didn't say conservative, I said conservative. And dig deeper into understanding the mindset of the house Negro
also known as the Sambo, the Raccoon, the Uncle Tom, and the self-hating, tap-dancing, shucking and jiving Negro peon. Okay? Uncle Ruckus, perfect example of that. Okay? As I mentioned, Samuel L. Jackson's character from Django, perfect example of that. It is important you understand these folks because sometimes the most dangerous thing to Black people is the Black man that looks like you, acts like you, but hates you, okay? And that is what your house Negro is. They hate their own. And as we continue to go through this study, it'll make more sense as to why that is, okay? But hates you. It says, the house Negro was the most reliable henchman of the white slave master. Okay, they used him to control the field Negroes. It starts with psychological grooming and a process of mental separation from the field Negroes. Okay, the colonizer works diligently to gaslight the victim into seeing himself as superior to the other Negroes. Not so much to a level equal to the slave master, but in a sense of superiority to the other slaves. Once that field Negro sees himself, or once that house Negro sees himself as superior, he starts to hate his own self and hate his own. Then the slave master can gaslight the victim further into believing that they are doing the field Negroes a favor by enslaving them. Okay, so by gaslighting the house Negro, they end up getting into the mindset of the house Negro and making them feel like what they're doing is for the field Negro's benefit and not to work against him. So they start looking at the colonizer as less of an enemy and more of a comrade that is doing good service on behalf of Black people. Okay, it's incredibly psychologically manipulative. Okay. They gaslight the victim further into believing they are doing the field Negroes a favor by enslaving them, selling them, and beating them. So much so that the victim starts to feel sympathy for the slave master and feel as if the Negro is the problem and not the slave owner. Okay? Once the hatred towards his own begins to fester, the slave master then begins to allow the house Negro into his home and around his children. He gives the house Negro access to his kitchen. He gives him certain benefits, such as better food, and allows him to sleep within the home. All the while, the slave master is slowly instilling his hate towards the field Negroes and slowly indoctrinating the house Negro that he is better than the field Negro and more acceptable. In the slave master's mind, he still sees the house Negro as an inferior slave and an inferior human being, but he still uses the house Negro to his advantage. Without ever having to lift a finger, he can make the field Negro, or the house Negro, I should say, his eyes and his ears in the field. And by extension, once the house Negro is groomed enough and has proven himself loyal, he will have to keep less watch on the plantation. Once the white man has got into the house Negro's mind, he doesn't need to be out there watching the fields all day with a gun. Okay, he has created his own, you know what I'm saying, eyes and ears in the field. Okay, and the house Negro will be the first to tell the master everything that's going on. What slaves are trying to escape? What slaves are doing this? What slaves are doing that? He's a perfect tool of control for the white man. Okay, all right. Now I'm going to show you guys some examples of what this looks like. Okay, I'm going to show you guys a few things before we jump into this deep, because honestly, this is a very, very complex topic, but I want to show you an example. Now, what led me to make this video actually is there's a video that went viral this week of this Negro that is, oh boy, what came out of his mouth? I'm not surprised. I'll be real with you. I'm not surprised what he said, but it just shows you what kind of things we're dealing with when it comes to these Black conservatives. So give me a second. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about in a second. Let's see. Where's the video? Okay. So this guy named Byron Daniels, who is looking to run for Trump's to be Trump's VP, said essentially he was asserting or insinuating that Black people were better under Jim Crow. Black families were better under Jim Crow. Now, when I show you he's married to a white woman, it's going to make sense. Why? Because most conservatives are married to white women. So that shouldn't be a surprise. So let me see if I can find the video here. Give me a second. Let's see. All right, let me just go here. Start with this.
Worse. I think that when people achieve certain status and certain rights and don't...
Okay, give me a second. Because it's so stupid he's saying that. He said that the Black family was together during Jim Crow. You think? We were being oppressed together, you clown. But, you know, I mean, look at the way this man's holding his head. I'm just saying. The tap dancing I've seen. Here we go. Listen to this.
You see, during Jim Crow, the Black family was together.
During Jim Crow, the Black family was together. I mean, it's no mystery. Nobody's arguing that the Black family was not together during Jim Crow. The reason why is because of the segregation and us being oppressed together. But let's keep listening.
During Jim Crow, more Black people were not just conservative, because Black people always have been conservative-minded, but more Black people voted conservative.
Wait. Hold on a minute, y'all. This Negro literally just said that Black people were voting conservative. Does this goofy-ass nigga not realize that Black people were not even allowed to vote during Jim Crow? Nobody that's married to a white woman that has made white biracial children has any place to sit there and tell people about Black families. But yet that's what he's doing. Clearly, you don't care nothing about the Black family. Just like Candace Owens, I care about Black people. I care about the Black family. You know, the left is destroying Black families and Black relationships, but yet you're with the white man. So it's like when you're marrying another nation, especially the Edomites, it's very, very counterproductive to sit there and talk about Black family when you haven't even helped create one. What do you know about the Black family? I'm just saying, this is the type of tap dancing I'm talking about. Now, he said this because he knows he has to pander to Trump's white power, white supremacist fan base. You feel what I'm saying? So he knows what he's doing. But this is how far we've fallen from the Most High to where we want to tap dance to get into certain circles, especially when it comes to the colonizer.
And then HEW, Lyndon Johnson, and then you go down that road, and now we are where we are. What's happened to the...
Okay, all right. So we're going to be looking at, yes, exactly. So Jim Crow should be re-implemented, Mr. Donalds. Exactly. It's like, hey, well, I mean, as long as the Black woman and the Black man are being oppressed together, why not bring it back? Okay, why not bring it back? Let them be oppressed together. Let them be beaten. Let them be, demoralized, sprayed with water hoses, and treated like less than as human beings. As long as they're together, what's wrong with that? That's essentially what he's saying. And I mean, like I said, you got to understand who we're dealing with, family. Now, I'm going to show you guys something else here. I'm going to play you guys a clip from the late, great Malcolm X talking about this this idea of the house Negro and everything else. And I'm going to show you a few more examples of what that's going to look like. Now, since we're talking about conservatives, I'm going to show you guys Officer Tatum. Now, I talked about him before. Clearly, he's with a white woman. All right, so a lot of the videos I'm going to show you today come from him. Now, you see that? With a white woman. Okay. Now, what you'll notice is when you look at these conservatives, you're going to notice that there's a very common theme with these people. Look at this. White woman. Okay. The Mr. Daniels, the dude we just looked at, guess who he's married to? White woman. Okay, so you'll notice as we continue to look in this study, this is a common thing amongst these conservatives. Okay, they are always, most of the time, married to another nation. This goofy nigga right here, we're gonna get to him a little bit later on because I'm about to roast this funny looking dude. All right, now I personally, I don't even believe this dude is straight. Okay, I mean, you know, the conservative party, they believe in marriage, they believe in family and all of that. You know, so the fact that this dude is not married, he's got to be LGBTQ. So, I mean, you know, he ain't fooling nobody. And then, of course, when he wanted to pander as if he is married, he went and found some white woman he can hire. Charles Barkley, look at that. This Negro right here, who's he with? Who's he with? A white woman, Susie. Okay, so you will notice with these conservatives, it's a very common theme. Look at this, y'all. It's a very common theme, okay? Very, 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 very common. So when I hear these people tap dancing to the level that they do, look at this woman right here. She's a black woman, conservative news commentator. Boom, look at that, white man. Do you see what I see? Let's keep going. I mean, there's just so many examples of this, y'all. This guy right here, okay? This guy, Water Blackman, is the first black Republican elected to the Arizona State Legislature. With a last name Blackman, what could possibly go wrong here? Boom! The colonizer. Okay, here you go. You got another black man, another Yahudi. Republican John Edward James is considered an up-and-coming rising star among black conservatives. Here we see this odd and peculiar tradition with the younger generation of black conservatives. And boom, what do you see? The pasty-faced Sheetamite. Okay, she saw right there in your face. And, you know, we could just keep on going, okay? You got another conservative, Kimberly Nicole Kallick, the conservative black Republican from Maryland. And who is she with? Esau, bro. Esau. Wake up, y'all. Okay, these people have an agenda, and a lot of our people are being steered towards conservatism. So there's going to be much more of a push to mix with these other nations, to white you out. All right, here you got another example. Bart Simpson. Ronald Chris. Okay, and guess who he's married to? Sheesaw, the Sheetamite. I mean, sheesh, bro. It just don't get no crazy. Oh, bro, they wrong for this. They wrong for this, bro. Gosh. All right, Candace Owens. We know she's married to a white man. Okay, but it's just, you see, family, that this is a reoccurring theme. It's very, very prominent in conservative circles. And I mean, you know, it doesn't change. Okay, look at that. All right. Black conservative Republican Alan West looks a proud mama walking his daughter Aubrey down the aisle right into an odd, familiar situation. And what is that situation? That's his daughter. Boom, white man. Beautiful black woman. You know, well, I mean, obviously she looked like she might be a little racially ambiguous, but once again, it never stops. Okay, here's another one. Boom. Obviously, she is a black woman, but she's with this white man. She's with Esau. Okay, so we can just see, family, over and over again, this doesn't change with these people. There is an agenda to do this. And the thing is, this is the house Negro mentality. You hate yourself so much, you don't even want to be with your own. You don't want to be seen amongst your own. And in order to please the white man, you have to be with somebody that's more, you know, looks like the white man, to get into white circles. A lot of these people do this for economic status. Yes, it is. It is a raccoon parade all day long. And to every single one of them that's mixing with these nations, boo these men.
Boo this man.
My, oh, my, oh, my. So why would I choose to do this? Barbara Knight said, short term and cry later. Look at Kobe, Serena, Venus, will giving their money back to another nation and not your oldest people. And unfortunately, family, this is not just something that's happening with conservatives. It is also happening with your basketball players, your celebrities, you know what I'm saying, and many of them. Why? Because it's an agenda. But I'm going to show you guys a few more things here that I have.
You are a raccoon.
Okay, now the next thing I'm going to show you guys is another example of the tap dancing. I got to be careful with certain words I say, you know, on these platforms. So let me just keep in mind that I am here on YouTube. So I'm going to show you the next thing here. Give me a second. I'm going to go back to X. Okay. Let me go back to X. I have a few bookmarks here. I want to show you guys of some more examples of what I'm talking about. And we're also going to talk about the Black Boule as well, because that's very, very important to also understand when it comes to this. Okay. So let me show you guys this other video that I have here. Give me a second. Okay. Now, keep in mind, y'all, a lot of people say, oh, you know, we're not NAZIs and so on and so forth. But look at this. Now, conservatives will be quick to call Black Lives Matter a terrorist organization, but they won't say this about the dang people where the Nazis, essentially, being able to run around in Nashville, Tennessee with flags in their hands. Look at this.
They are literally having a Nazi march. Here in downtown Nashville. White supremacists talking about white supremacist neo-Nazism, talking about deporting folks and just racial hatred. This is what we're seeing here in Nashville.
Now, you won't see not near one Trump supporter call these a terrorist organization. They're allowed to just walk around, no problem, but they can sit there and cry because Black Lives Matter burned down a bunch of police stations, tore down. And I understand it was provocateurs. I understand Black Lives Matter was funded by George Soros, a white man. So I understand, you know what I'm saying, that that's not what we are. I agree with the sentiment, not the organization, because it is a liberal organization that has exploited Black people and our plight and our pain to be able to put lesbianism and transgenderism to the forefront. So no, I do not agree with the organization. I agree with the sentiment that our lives do matter. However, they'll call that you know, a terrorist organization. But what about the Tulsa, Oklahoma massacre? And don't worry, we'll get to that in a second. Now take a look at this right here. I want you guys to take a good look at this thing I'm going to show you. Give me a second. Oh, man, I just lost my place. I don't know how that happened. And if you want to think about a raccoon, this is perfectly what that is right here. Okay, they love the colonizer. So let me show you this. So check out this family. I'm going to read you this article, and I want you to listen. So when you think about, you know, Mr. Donald's essentially saying that Black families were better during Jim Crow, let's see if that's actually true. Okay, so it says in 1898, the federally appointed postmaster for Lake City, South Carolina, Fraser Baker, was lynched along with his baby daughter, Julia. This was a lynching by bullets, which also hit his wife, Lavinia, and 4 of their children. The crime which incensed the white mob that descended on their house, also the town post office, that of being a Black postmaster, no more, no less, and no one was ever convicted. Huh? You surprised? White supremacists all over the South were infuriated at President McKinley's postings of Black federal employees. He had spoken out against lynching in order to secure the Black vote when he was running for president. This sentiment led directly to the massacre in Wilmington later that year, which destroyed the Black prosperity in the North Carolina port and turned the previously majority Black town majority white, practically overnight. Okay, so Black people were Black families were better off during Jim Crow? Okay. It also dismantled the rising and therefore successful Fusionist Party, a coalition of working class Blacks and whites. This picture was taken after Lavinia Baker and her 5 surviving children escaped and relocated to Boston. The faces say it all. And this is the image right here. People love to talk about get over it, and slavery was so long ago, and Black people love to be victims when the issue is truly systematic and not dismantled in a day. We will be fighting the results of how our society was formed and how that formation is protected by white sour cream supremacy to this day for a long time. And let's not forget that the white poor and that of other races also get left behind in this scheme, which only benefits the few. So somehow slavery was better for Black families under Jim Crow is what this tap dancing man has said. Now, I'm also going to show you guys the debate that he had with Joy Reid, where she challenged his talking points, and then he tried to walk it back and say, oh, I didn't say that, and oh, that's not what I meant, and I think you have taken what I said out of context. So let me go to that real quick here. I mean, he was getting dragged all over Twitter for saying that goofy stuff. But I just want you guys to understand what extent a person has to go to be accepted by these Trump supporters. So let me go to Joy Reid. Give me a second. Joy Reid. She did a good job challenging him on his talking points, and then he tried to kind of twist it around. So here we go. Let's watch it real quick.
Could not protect his wife from rape, could not protect his son from lynching. So again, why would you quote that era and say that at that time, the family all being in the home together was something we should think of as a good thing?
Well, first of all, Joy, the story you bring up and you're bringing up is a tragedy, one of the great tragedies of the Jim Crow era. This is why those policies they were disgusting and distasteful. All I was talking about, Joy, was the benefit of a man in the family.
Again, sir, I'm sorry, I let you talk for a long time. Sorry, no. Talk over you. You've gotten a chance to speak a lot, Congressman. You're going to answer my question now and not filibuster. This is the question you want. This is the question you need to answer.
That's what I'm trying to answer. That's what I'm trying to answer, Joy.
Give me a second. Take a breath. Take a breath. If a Black man could not protect. It's my show. If a Black man, a Black father, could not protect his wife, his son, or himself from lynching and violence, how is him being in the home mean that is an era that was better for the Black family, or that we should think of as a good thing?
First of all, Joy, I never said that it was better for Black people in Jim Crow. I have never said that. And even my own words say that. If you're talking about the importance of Black fathers in the home.
But what I'm trying to understand is why, okay, if you're not talking about Jim Crow specifically, why not just say the 50s? Why did you have to use such language when you are describing the Black family? That's what I'm having an issue with here, is he's deflecting from the fact he specifically said Jim Crow.
Or frankly, all fathers in the home. It is always for the betterment of children, to have leadership, yes, for safety. So having two people in the home to help provide the economic needs for those children so the family can succeed. That is a wonderful thing. We should always get back to that, not to Jim Crow. And this is the point of the gaslighting and the lying that is occurring with what I said. Don't try to impose the fact that the marriage rates were better in the higher, I want to be clear, higher in the Jim Crow era to mean that I think Jim Crow is great. That is a lie. That is gaslighting. I would never say such a thing, which is why the Jim Crow era was destructive of Black people.
You brought it up. You're the one who brought it up. Let's get one more question.
And now you're trying to gaslight like everybody else is trying to gaslight.
The timeline was when, okay, one more thing. The poverty rate during Jim Crow was 55.1%. More than half of families were impoverished. You also said, and I'm quoting you again, during Jim Crow, more Black people were.
Does he not also realize that during Jim Crow, your family would not even exist because you were a white woman? You do realize, Mr. Tap Dancer, that during Jim Crow, you would literally not even be able to have the family you have right now. They would have hung you in the worst way. Oh boy. You talk about black families, but yet you obviously don't even support or believe or want a black family.
We're not just conservative. Black people have always been conservative minded, but black people voted conservatively. Black people weren't allowed to vote at all during Jim Crow.
Right. Look at that. Look at that. You see that? Look how quiet he is. This is what happens when you allow a white man to tell you or allow to teach you about your history and present talking points to you that don't apply to black men, but only apply to white men. Because all he's really doing is just parroting white men's talking points. I mean, black men should be able to do their own research and be able to challenge any talking point. Even if you are conservative, you should still be able to present your case without having the white man to, you know, kind of get in your mind and back you up on something. But you look how quiet he got. Where was all that energy you just had a second ago? Where's it at, Mr. Donalds? Mr. Tap dancing, butter biscuit eating Donalds. Where's that energy at, sir? Huh? You quiet, boy? Okay, let's keep going.
Well, first of all, there were areas in the United States where black people did vote.
Under Jim
It wasn't
Crow?
universal throughout the United States. So let's just be perfectly honest about that. I just told you it was not universal.
We know Jim Crow
there were
wasn't
areas,
throughout
but
the United
obviously
States.
black people were suppressed from voting. That's what the purpose of not just the 64 and the 65 voting rights back, but so many others. But let's get back to what I was saying.
So you're inaccurate
All
there.
I was talking about is about black families. No.
I'm laughing because like she has this look on his face like he getting cooked. I'm like, okay, bro, let her cook. Let her cook. And I'm not the biggest fan of Joy Reid, but she did get the upper hand on this discussion because she was ready for him. He was not ready for her, and he got roasted.
No, I'm not being inaccurate.
During Jim
You
Crow,
are being
more black
inaccurate.
people
This is the
voted
problem.
conservative. They didn't vote conservative because they weren't allowed to vote. That is the essence of what Jim Crow is.
Right. No human rights. You were not treated as human. You could not eat in the same area as them. You could not drink from the same water fountain as them. You had to sit at the back of the bus. This is what Jim Crow was. Okay. It was a total extragavation of a black person's rights. Okay. So it's bad enough. They said, okay, you know what, you guys, and let me make something clear here, family. Let me come on the screen real quick. Okay. They did not free the slaves because they were doing it out of the kindness of their heart. No. The only reason why Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves is because he wanted to find a way to be able to allow economics to benefit him. The South was messing up his money. He did it for his own benefit, okay? It was not because he cared about black people. It was to mess up another white man's money, therefore eliminating competition because the white man's money in the South was codependent upon slave labor. It's just that simple. It wasn't about helping black people. I see a lot of black people kind of herald, you know, Abraham Lincoln as a hero, talking about Juneteenth and all this foolishness, attaching to things because, you know, we only listen to what the white man says. So when we were freed as slaves, so to speak, and I can't even say freed because slavery is still legal as long as you're incarcerated. Shout out to Milo. They just joined the membership. Oh, thank you so much, Duda. I appreciate you joining the family. Be sure to show Milo some love in the chat, family. So yes, I agree with you. Integration destroyed our communities. It did. It honestly did. And that's something some people don't like. That's why I say in certain instances, I do believe in segregation because, you know, we should be able to have our own without these people coming in and colonizing and taking in gentrification. I grew up in Baldwin Hills. It was known as the Black Beverly Hills. Beautiful houses, beautiful area. And now all I see, you know what I'm saying, is Edom. You know what I'm saying? It was black, 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 black. You know, you think about South Central, you think about the hood. A lot of that stuff is being bought out by white men and they're kicking black people out. As a matter of fact, bro, since we're talking about this, let me show you what I'm talking about. When you don't have a certain sense of segregation, then comes gentrification. Okay. So let me just show you something real quick. So we'll go to South Central and you get gentrification because that's what's happening right now. Matter of fact, let me show you where I grew up at in the hood, the Crenshaw district. So how they gentrified the Crenshaw district is by building this train. You feel what I'm saying? That would be kind of put. Let me show y'all this real quick. Y'all need to see this, bro. This is sad, man. And you know, it kind of like irritates me that people just kind of don't really care, don't say anything. Even where Nipsey Hussle got shot at, that area is being gentrified. It's a mess. A lot of black businesses have been shut down because of this. So let me show y'all this. Take a look. Let me share my screen.
Where you from? I ain't from nowhere. No gang banging. Yes. That's what I'm talking about. I'm walking down.
Okay, so you see this train? This is Crenshaw Boulevard. Okay, so when you get up to that little Fat Burger right there, that's Slauson and Crenshaw. So this is Nipsey Hussle's hood. This is where the 6 O's be at. You feel what I'm saying? Now, if you go further down, further south, down Crenshaw, you end up in a Crenshaw district. They had like a lot of black businesses, you know, a lot of like black hair salons and just black Eminem soul food. You had all of that. You feel what I'm saying? When they built this train, which has been complete because this was made years ago, when they built this train, a lot of black businesses were forced to shut down and close shop, though they had been there for longer than I've been there. Because, I mean, I came to LA when I was 7. I was born in Pasadena, though. You feel what I'm saying? So a lot of these black businesses were being forced to close because they were building this train that runs from the Crenshaw district all the way to LAX. So if you have a train that runs from the hood to LAX, guess what? More white people are going to move in because they're going to want to be close to the train. Therefore, they drive the black people out. They raise the rent, and then they get these white people to move in. And that's what's going on right now. When you don't have segregation, this is what the white man does. And we're kind of tired of that, which is why I say I do believe in segregation to a certain extent. Integration has allowed this to become our reality. It's what shot the rent prices up. It's what drove, you know, like in LA, for example, LA has become so expensive. So many of my people, our people, Yahudim, are being forced to move out to the desert, Moreno Valley and, you know, Palmdale and Lancaster, the desert, out in the heat. Meanwhile, these white folks are just taking up all of this. You know, give it 10, 20 years, however long we got, you know what I'm saying, in this land where I could be able to see it with my own eyes. It won't be no hoods anything. They will literally drive us all out into the desert, all out, you know what I'm saying, into the you know, just out of the cities. Let's watch this.
On the strip, the Crenshaw strip, that is. And I'm over all of the places where we would commune and commence.
Watia says we used to call it Chocolate City. Yeah.
Now, this is exactly what gentrification looks like in the city of Los Angeles 2019.
Like, I remember this little, like, you know, this Ralph's right over here. It's crazy, family, looking at this and just thinking back to all these memories of being over here. You know what I'm saying? There used to be a smoke shop right here on this side. You know what I'm saying? Nipsey Hussle store is right before you get to the light. You know what I mean? Like, it's so much. And it's what's crazy to me, honestly, family, is like, Nipsey Hussle, I died in, I believe, 2019. And it, you know, it really set off a acceleration of gentrification, which makes me realize Nipsey Hussle was targeted because what he was trying to do was build up his community. He was, I mean, even like he from 6-0 Crip, right? But he had enemies, you know, dudes from other hoods. But he was putting them on, helping them get jobs. He was about to meet with the police, talk about, you know, kind of killing off gang violence and things like that. He was really trying to do for our people. But the police, they said, oh, no, we can't have that. He ends up dead, and now his area is being gentrified. And now the whole area is being gentrified. They knew what they was doing, bro. They knew what they was doing. And his, you know what I'm saying, him being unalived, listen, You got informants in every hood. Okay, I don't care if you in West LA, East LA, South LA, no matter where you are in the world, wherever there's a hood, wherever there is Yahudim, there is active informants that look just like you that are working with the police. Whether it's because they are facing some serious charges and they got to take a few people down and they may get less time, or whether they are totally compromised.
Crenshaw does not even look like itself any longer.
Nope.
Why is that? Because big money comes in and buys up things.
Right.
You see how there's one lane on Crenshaw to drive on. One lane right now. There's places to live, but housing is scarce. Like to be housed a certain way.
All right, we're not going to watch this whole thing, family, but just watching this is just crazy to me. You know what I'm saying? In the news, people was on the news. They was talking about how they losing everything. You know what I'm saying? It's just sad, bro. They always tell black people to do something about our lives and try to do better. But at the end of the day, they take it all away every single time. Let me see. I'm trying to find another area. Fight over Crenshaw Mall ownership. Okay, so this is the Baldwin Hills.
The latest now on the back.
Crenshaw Mall. All right, this is where I grew up at. This is the hood. You know what I'm saying? Well, you know, like the hood. If you go up the hill, if you go up Stalker, it takes you to Baldwin Hills, which where I grew up at. I could walk to the mall from my house. It wasn't that far. This is the Crenshaw Mall. You feel what I'm saying? And now they have gentrified this, and now the white man wants to own the Crenshaw Mall. I mean, it's crazy, bro.
Battle over the Baldwin Hills Crenshaw Mall. Members of a black-owned nonprofit say they presented the highest bid to purchase it, but were passed over. NBC4's Jonathan Gonzalez explains how community groups are now rallying to their cause.
We cannot afford to this mall going into the hands of anybody but us.
In a show of solidarity, multiple national organizations, including the NAA.
Look at that. Stop gentrification. Save the Crenshaw Mall. You feel what I'm saying? So these, you know, our people came up with enough money to be able to, you know, basically buy them all. And they passed them up because they wanted to give it to a white man. Long story short, you feel what I'm saying? Even though our people had come together and said, okay, we're gonna offer money to purchase the mall, they passed them over for the white man. I mean, this is what I'm saying. It doesn't matter how much money or what opportunities or what you might have in this land. As long as we are in this land, we will not ever come up on top. That's just the way it goes, bro. You feel what I'm saying?
ACP came together today to support Downtown Crenshaw, the black-owned nonprofit group that has been trying to purchase the Crenshaw Mall.
This mall is the center of black commerce in Los Angeles.
Damian Goodman is a Downtown Crenshaw board member. For months, the group has raised awareness about their efforts to take the Baldwin Hills Crenshaw Plaza into the hands of the black community, outbidding every other developer trying to buy it.
$115 million more than this guy bid for, and we offered the opportunity to outbid any other legitimate bidder.
But Goodman says their bid was denied by the financial group DWS, a subsidiary of Deutsche Bank that is overseeing the sale. Instead, the bid was awarded to the Heritage Development Group and its CEO, David Schwartzman, and the deal is set to close tomorrow.
He is faced with the critical deadline. He must close by tomorrow, and he's having difficulty. And the
black business owners priced out of the mall.
You cannot discriminate against us in the bidding process and think you're going to get away with it.
Instead, Downtown Crenshaw says it will not rule out future legal action against DWS and other groups involved if they ultimately lose out on the sale. NBC4 reached out to DWS for comment and are still waiting to hear back.
It is time that the black community have control of its future. Yeah! We didn't have these things before, so you better take our money or you can take our wrath.
Jonathan Gonzalez, NBC4 News.
There it is, y'all. We really don't have that. We really don't have much power, man, in these lands of our captivity. And you have Negroes and house Negroes. And I'm going to talk about house Negroes from a biblical perspective, too, because they're in the Bible. And you find them in places like Maccabees, where some of the Yahudim were making covenant with the heathens. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later, but let's keep going. Now, I ain't saying them are house Negroes, but I'm just trying to get you to understand that there are some people that were probably, connected to the purchase of, that the white man got a hold of, that said, nah, you know what, I think he probably could do more for it. There are people that will say, well, the white man, he could probably do more. He can offer more. And it's like they don't stand with their own. You feel what I'm saying? Those are house Negroes. But I'm just trying to show you guys the gentrification that's taking place due to the white man being able to just come and take. You feel what I'm saying? The white man being able to come just ease his way in and say, it's mine. I want it. He has no type of connection to that mall. He didn't grow up in that area. He doesn't know anything about the people that live there. He hasn't taken time to understand the people that live there. He just says, money, 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 it's mine. This is what they do. This is exactly what they do. And for every house Negro that stands with them, they are part of the problem. So let me show you guys some more examples of these house Negroes. Let me see. Take a look at this one right here. Since we're talking about house Negroes, I'm going to show you this video from the late, great Malcolm X, basically kind of echoing the talking point of what a house Negro is, the difference between a house Negro and a field Negro.
Two kinds of slaves. There was the house Negro and the field Negro. The house Negro, they lived in the house with master. They dressed pretty good. They ate good because they ate his food, what he left. They lived in the attic or the basement, but still they lived near their master. And they loved their master more than the master loved himself. They would give their life to save their master's house quicker than the master would. The house Negro, if the master said, we got a good house here, the house Negro said, yeah, we got a good house here. Whenever the master said we, he said we. That's how you can tell a house Negro. If the master's house caught on fire, the house Negro would fight harder to put the blaze out than the master would. If the master got sick, the house Negro would say, what's the matter, boss? We sick. We sick. He identified himself with his master more than his master identified with himself. And if you came to the house Negro and said, let's run away, let's escape, let's separate, that house Negro would look at you and say, man, you crazy. What you mean separate? Where is there a better house than this? Where can I wear better clothes than this? Where can I eat better food than this? That was that house Negro. In those days, he was called a house nigger. And that's what we call him today because we still got some house niggers running around here. This modern house Negro loves his master. He wants to live near him. He'll pay 3 times as much as the house is worth just to live near his master. And then brag about, I'm the only Negro out here. I'm the only one on my job. I'm the only one in this school. You're nothing but a house Negro. And if someone come to you right now and say, let's separate, you say the same thing that the house Negro said on the plantation. What you mean?
Mm-hmm. So that was the late, great Malcolm X discussing what the difference between the house Negro and the field Negro. And as I explained to you guys before, essentially, the field Negro was the one that the house Negro was used to control the rest of the field Negroes. He would be in place. He would have a purpose in that. And a lot of times they were like the white man's right-hand man against the field Negroes. So now I'm going to show you a few more examples of house Negroes, especially these tap dancing Trump supporters like this dude, Tim Scott. He is just, oh boy. Take a look for yourself. I don't think I need to say much.
We need a president today who will stop the crime and recklessness in the streets. We need a president who will restore law and order. We need Donald Trump. Oh, Oh, we need a president.
Oh, this dude is a clown, bro. I mean, his nose couldn't get any browner from all the ass kissing he's doing. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. I just...
We need a president today who will stop the crime and recklessness in the streets. We need a president who will restore law and order. We need Donald Trump. Oh, we need a president who will lower our taxes and not raise our taxes. We need a president like Donald Trump. We need a president who understands the American people are sick and tired of being sick and tired. We need a president our foreign adversaries are afraid of and our allies respect. We need a president who doesn't see black or white. We see a president who sees Americans as one American family. We need. And that's why I came to the very warm state of New Hampshire to endorse the next president of these United States, President Donald Trump.
Thank you, Tim. That's great.
I mean, Twice Natural said it best. I mean, he was even looking at him like, yeah, well, come on, y'all. Boo this man. Boo him. I mean, are you serious?
Boo this man.
You lying heathen.
Is this camera on me?
Yes, it's on.
That's stupid.
I mean, bro, the tap dancing, rapid pace.
Hardy har har. If they like that mess, they're starving for some real hoofing. I'll kill 'em. Music, maestro, please. E flat from the top.
Just to get into certain circles, this is what the House Negro will do. They have no shame about it. They feel no ways about it. And this is exactly oftentimes what you will see when it comes to the house, the tap dancing House Negro. There's nothing that they won't do for Massa. There's nothing that they won't do to get on his good side, to be accepted of him, which is why he's dangerous, because he has no limit to what he will do when it comes to working for the white man. And as I said before, what the House Negro doesn't understand is he's just a tool for the colonizer. He is just a tool for Esau. But he just gets little breadcrumbs. He gets little table scraps, and he's happy with that because he believes through the programming of the white man that he can still get in those circles, even though that's never going to happen because the white man doesn't see him as an equal. But that's just the gaslighting that he's received. All right. Now, the next thing I want to show you guys here is I'm going to show you guys some more examples of, what these examples of the House Negroes would be. And I also want to talk about the Black Boule, because it's very important you understand how many of our people, support these celebrities and don't realize that they are essentially the same, no different than, your modern day House Negroes, the Black Boule, your Prince Hall Freemasons, your Black Freemasons. They are no different than your modern day House Negroes. So this right here is a clip from Boondocks, where Uncle Ruckus, now notice the Confederate flag in the background, okay? He ends up making racist music with this white country singer. And they're shocked when they find out that the man who's been making this racist music is black. Take a look.
Okay, gang, as you know, I left a few days ago to meet the fella who sent me that amazing song. Well, I found him. Everyone, meet Uncle Ruckus.
Hey there, good white folks. How y'all doing?
He's a Negro who hates niggers, and I want to do an album with him.
Hey, jigger-boo, nigger-boo, colored coonie.
All right, I'm not gonna play too much because I don't want YouTube to strike me. Now, when I talk about Uncle Ruckus, let me just pull him up real quick because I want you to understand the complexity of his character. Okay, now he is obviously a huge exaggeration. Okay, but I want to just kind of take time to dig into the psychology of someone like Uncle Ruckus. Okay, so let me just go here, show you an image of him. All right, now I'm gonna just kind of break down what his character is, so it makes a little bit more sense. So let me click this. Okay, so why I think Uncle Ruckus is a very interesting character is because he reflects the man who is Negro, okay? A man that hates himself so much, hates everything about himself so much, he has created this safe place, the safe space of delusional thinking. He looks in the mirror, he sees that he's a dark-skinned male, okay? But because of the uncomfortability with himself, he has created this delusion of grandeur that he's actually not a Negro, but he's actually a man with some made-up disease that makes his skin dark. He hates himself so much, he feels if he could convince the world that he's not actually black, he can be accepted by white men. And so in order to prove himself worthy to be accepted in white circles, he exudes that hatred against his fellow black man and black woman. This is what your modern day coons are. This is what your modern day Candace Owens, Officer Tatum, Tim Scott, Byron Donalds, even your Al Sharptons, even your Jesse Jacksons, even your Martin Luther King Jr.'s. A lot of them are raccoons. I gotta stop saying COON. You know what I'm saying? That's what they are. And I'm gonna show you a little further here. Yeah, they actually no kidding, sis. Melanie Vio is right. They actually do have something called transracial. You do have that, where there are some white people who literally identify as black. You know, you got raccoons that identify as white, but you have people that literally identify as black, that are white, that are pale as this piece of paper in my hand right here. I kid you not. Big Des, what up, Aki? Good to see you, family. So this is honestly what I think about when I see people like Candace Owens, when I see people like these black conservatives. You know, like there's even an episode where he is told this story that he was actually born white, but he got this like this skin condition that spread throughout his body, making him black. Basically the reverse of vitiligo, and he called it revitiligo, which is just, it's really bananas when you really think about it. Now, the next thing I want to show you guys is more examples of this. So check this out. Yeah, Rachel Dolezal. I'll probably show you guys her in a second. But check this out. Let me show you this video. Now, this is a movie called Uncle Tom 2, An American Odyssey. And I kid you not, these black conservatives are saying Tulsa, Oklahoma is not real. Like they're saying that, okay, let me just play it. Let you see for yourself.
century was because blacks were deeply religious people.
I mean, we them people. I mean, not religious, I'd say more spiritual, but anyway.
They adhered to strong Judeo-Christian values and principles.
Them, crime, homelessness.
Every Sunday, you woke up, you had breakfast with your mom and dad.
I thought that the black family wasn't, you know what I'm saying? The black family wasn't together. I see black families here. So they love to talk about, certain things, but I see black people, black families eating together, sitting together. I'm just saying, this kind of goes against what these white conservatives be saying, that the father don't ever be around. But clearly, here is the father, here is the mother, here are the children. But anyway, I digress.
And then all of us came out of the house at the same time, and we start walking toward Sunday school. Even if you couldn't sing, you're going to be in the youth choir. And then Wednesday, you would go to youth Bible study. And then the summer, you go to church retreat camp. Those were just expected things.
Now, keep in mind, this was not Jim Crow times, but look how prosperous these black families are. I'm just showing you to show you.
And that formed a fundamental basis of the black community. It was that sense of right and wrong. It was that sense of morality. It was that sense of discipline that we had.
White privilege.
Okay, now this right here, this is Jesse Lee Peterson. He is one of the biggest tap dancers I've ever seen, bro. I mean, sheesh, he is just ridiculous with it.
And all that crap they tell you now is because of lack of character.
This the gutter right here. You feel
Niggas
me?
die for this shit. Niggas
die
jail for this shit.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, niggas die for this shit. Niggas live for this shit.
Nigga,
I'm born and raised. In jail for this shit.
TG. Free all the homies, everybody. Free Lil Dub, Lil Baby Dub.
Black people lost character. Look at all the neighborhoods, the communities, the cities where blacks have taken over. When they move into those areas, they're very nice. But by the time the blacks are done with them, crime, homelessness, they don't paint their home, they don't clean up. It just become a mess.
Wait a minute. Hold on a minute, y'all. Okay. This is what I'm talking about. Do you see? The same things he's saying is what white people say. He literally calls Donald Trump the great white hope. You can't tell me that this dude is not Uncle Ruckus. Praise white Jesus. Praise white God. Praise the white man. I mean, oh my gosh. Whew. Yes, exactly. The gender war is promoting mixing. Exactly. They can make you hate the black woman. You will no longer desire the black woman. And like I said, the fact that Negroes literally won't even look at the black woman tells me that's exactly what they want. That is programming, brainwashing, indoctrination. You feel what I'm saying? They've had a lot of, they put a lot of work at it. And I'm going to show you some more examples in a second. But check this out. Let's keep going because there's still more I want to show you about this. Now, I understand our people, okay? I still love my people, even though they stuck in the ways of Babylon. All this was taught to us by the white man and the Ashkenazi manufactured Jewish culture, okay? So I know that this is not who we are, but I love my people regardless. I just pray that they repent and come out of this wicked nation and stop following all the things the white Ashkenazi Amalekites done taught us. You feel what I'm saying? But they use this imagery right here to portray us as if we're all like this. You feel what I'm saying? You look at those black families and you liken that to this and you're like, okay, there's obviously some culture that has been pushed up on us to make us like this. Because when you look at those families from the 70s, they were nothing like what we're seeing right here. Now, who controls the world? The white man, Esau, Edom. So Edom's programming from the television, from the music, has turned Black families from what we saw in the 70s to what we see now. It all started with gangster rap. It all started with Ice Cube and NWA and Tupac and Snoop Dogg and all of that, which were white Jewish men who signed them and said, well, we want to destroy the Black man. We want to fill up and get Black bodies for the prison industrial complex. Well, then let's just make gangster rap music that glorifies crime. And this is the example of white men's doing. Okay? Now, Black people, we could choose not to participate in these things. But the problem is, because the culture is so influential in the Black community, we attach to everything that is not of us if there's a Black face attached to it, because we are a people who don't know who we are. You see? This is the danger of losing your heritage. This is the danger of being sucked into something because it seems Black and embracing it.
My boys. We grew up to this shit. Like, ain't nothing.
It's because of lack of family, and most Black people today do not believe in God.
Okay, that's cap. That's all cap.
They believe about him, but they don't believe in him.
Okay, so if you're talking about the white man's Christian God, well, you just said that Black people are the most spiritual people or the most religious. So it's weird that you're saying that we believe about the Most High, but we don't believe in the Most High. And I will say in some instances that's true, depending on how you look at it. You've got Black Christians who don't know who they are. You've got Black people that are embracing ancient Kemet who don't know who they are. So let's just bring out the truth and reveal to these people who they are and watch them change. Now, I mean, I'm living proof of that. Every one of y'all is living proof of that. You reveal to us who we are, we'll serve the Most High on one consent. Now, some of them won't. Some of our people will not. All right? But if you keep pushing a white Jesus, you pushing a white man's God, you pushing a whitewashed Bible, how can Black people attach to it? How can Black people in all sense of the word connect to it when it has nothing to do with us? The white images are part of the problem. Sour cream supremacy is part of the problem. Telling us we're Gentiles with none of us being depicted in the movies, the whitewashed Moses, the whitewashed Messiah, the whitewashed Israelites, the whitewashed Yahudim, that has played a role in why we have fallen away from the Most High. Not saying that that's, the main reason, but it's a good chunk of the reason as to why. I couldn't even get to the Bible because all I saw was white. How can I attach to something that does not depict it's like we didn't even exist when you look at the Bible taught from the Eurocentric perspective. And then when you do mention us, oh, y'all are cursed sons of Ham. And they were totally okay with that. But now that we say, hey, we're the people of the book, all of a sudden, it's a problem. Stop focusing on color. Stop focusing on race. But subliminally, you've been pushing race all this time. You just didn't say it out loud. You didn't have to say, oh, well, we believe Jesus is white. Or, oh, we believe the Israelites are white. All you had to do, because you own the movies, you own the music, you own the animation studios, you own everything. You didn't have to ever mention the Messiah, the color of the Messiah being white or Caucasian, because you had subliminally programmed us to see white when we think of, the Messiah or the Israelites or whatever you want to call it. They had already created this sense of separation the moment they decided that we were Black and they were white. When you think of Black, you think of unclean, you think of impure, you think of evil. When you think of white, you think of pure, washing us white as snow. You think of righteousness, you think of that. So the moment the white people get to be depicted as white and you get to be depicted as Black, then they give you a white Messiah automatically. You look at the white man as righteous, and then you look at the Black man, Black woman, Black child as the devil. Okay, it's psychological. It is psychological, family. The most dangerous thing they could have ever done to us, aside from all the evil stuff, is the white Edomite Jesus.
It wasn't that way when I was growing up, but it's that way today.
If you walk through any black urban community, you see many black men standing on corners doing nothing.
Okay. Let me give y'all a scripture about that. Because there's actually a scripture that says that Judah hangs out on street corners. Well, you know, just more evidence that we them people. Just more evidence that we them people. Hold on, let me pull it up here. Jeremiah chapter 17 through 18. Let's go there real quick. Jeremiah, Yirmiyahu, chapter 17, verses 7 through 18. Okay, I mean, okay, y'all might feel away, but at the end of the day, homie, we them people, boy. Even our people in the Bible was doing it. So, just don't get mad because I can prove it. Okay? Give me a second. Let me pull this up here. Hold on. Yeah, Jeremiah 17 through 18. Let's go to Jeremiah 7. Okay, let's go there real quick. Let me share my tab. Okay, let's look at this real quick. Jeremiah 7. This is talking about Yahudah. And we're going to read 17 through 18. Do you not see what they are doing in the towns of Yahudah, in the streets of Jerusalem? The children gather wood, the fathers light the fire, and the women knead the dough and make cakes to offer to the queen of heaven. They pour out drink offers to other gods to arouse my anger, but I'm the only one who provoking, declares Yahuwah. Are they not harming themselves to their own shame? Okay, so you can see here that in the cities, the Yahudim were hanging around the streets of Jerusalem. Okay, so they're talking about, they sit around in the streets all day and do nothing. Okay, but yet this is something that is closely tied to our people. Now, take a look at this. Let me go to ghetto. Let me type in the word ghetto just for the heck of it, right? They love to connect that to black people. But what is the ghetto? Okay, let's look at this. Ghetto, a quarter of the city in which Jews or Yahudim were required to live. The ghetto, the Jews hanging out in street corners. Homie, we them people. We them people. The deeper you dig into it, the more obvious it becomes. But like I said, that's the thing. Now, let me ask you something. At what point in this movie are they going to talk about the lazy, trailer trash white folks with no teeth in their mouth that be sleeping with their sister cousin, you know what I'm saying, that sit in the trailer park all day smoking that METH? Oh, they're not going to talk about that, huh? They're not going to talk about that. It's just the black man bad, white man good. Okay.
Paper, that's the only thing you can do unless these niggas want smoke, Okay.
Young, middle-aged, and old, because they're operating under a definition that is different from what God has defined for them as their role as men.
We go to other spots, fuck niggas up, beat niggas up.
Okay, see, this is sad. You know what I'm saying? I feel bad for my people because, listen, I used to be in the streets like that too, cuz I used to. But it's sad because I was a person who didn't know who he was, and I was really in the streets for real. You know what I'm saying? And now that I'm looking back at it, I regret a lot of the things I did, a lot of decisions I made, because I realized that this is a mindset that was not of Yahuwah and should not have ever been something I should have embraced. You feel what I'm saying? But when you lose your identity, you just attach to what you're around. You become a product of your environment. And I'm sad to say I did become a product of my environment. I did. You feel what I'm saying? I got sucked into that because that's all I saw. So, I become what I see. you know, but they're using this, you know, this culture that's been pushed on us to basically, and you know, there were white men behind this movie, by the way, so keep that in mind. Tomorrow,
what are we projecting to the world?
Okay. I'm sorry, y'all. That's Lil Nas X video. Let's keep going.
Printed in Moscow, which explains that communism is based on two main ideas.
So this movie is essentially trying to push that we are a bunch of communists, okay? Like black people and, you know, a lot of people behind the black civil rights movement were all communists like China. And that's one thing they love to say, you know what I'm saying, is that we're communists.
God, but still satisfy that desire in the human heart to see all things made right.
As image bearers of God, we understand right from wrong. What happens is these ideologies come along.
If you believe there is no creator,
I saw socialism.
Number one area for the
scientifically.
And fast forward some of this.
Pattern.
non-whites, they are the
music, film, all these different vehicles being used to carry out this ideology.
Many of our people's minds have been whitewashed. If a Negro comes up to you and you turn your back on him, he's got to run to the hunky. We're going to take time and patience with our people because they're ours. They're ours.
It's very clear. There was an intention to use black people
rotten, fascist, racist
to be a constant annoyance,
Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you!
a thorn in the side to America.
Okay, so do you see what they're trying to push here, y'all? I want you to see what they are saying and how when we push back against the system, because we're tired of oppression, okay? Maya Ya Johnson, Shalom says, good to see you. Thank you for showing up. What you'll notice what they're trying to do is, if you speak out against this system that's done nothing but evil against us, they call you a problem. They call you an annoyance. But we have respectfully asked to be treated as human beings. Okay? We have demonstrated peacefully to stop what's going on. And now that we call it out and say that this system is trash, this system is oppressive, this system is evil, the white man is evil, now all of a sudden we're a thorn in their side to America. To hell with Babylon. To hell with the system of Edom. To hell with the court system. To hell with the police. To hell with the white privilege. To hell with the conservative party. To hell with the Democrats. To hell with the every single slave plantation that has unalived, the Planned Parenthood, all of it. To hell with all of America, bro. I fear Yahuwah, right? But if I was a different type of person, sometimes in my mind, I have dreams about burning this place to the ground. And sometimes when I just want to, you know what I'm saying? But I know the Most High. I know he has a time where it's going to be done. And we know this. But I can't blame our people for being angry because we done dealt with so much, cuz. So much. And these black folk, they want to sit here and say we're wrong because we call it out. We're wrong because we sit there and deal with this so much, and we need to just be quiet and deal with the oppression. Boo this land. Facts. Boo this land. That's hilarious.
Boo this man.
So what they're essentially saying is, we know what's going on with y'all. We just want you to be quiet while the police continue to be corrupt, while the white man continues to steal, kill, and destroy. Just don't say anything about it. Just bite your tongue. Just be quiet and go along with. The white man don't got to change. The white man don't got to do better. The white man ain't got to be moral. He can do whatever he wants. Don't question him. Just go along with it. And that is what the modern day raccoon thinks. That is how he sees it. That is his whole ideal when it comes to him speaking out about black people. We are the problem, not the white man, not the system that the white man has used to oppress and benefit himself while oppressing us. The white man is never the problem. The black person is. That is the mindset of the house Negro. Ultimately.
To effect change.
In the summer of 1964.
And that the next time we meet.
Comment about the outside agitators that the mayor claims is coming into Buffalo to create the disorders.
What these short films of Saul Alinsky showed is that it was actually white Marxists.
Alinsky sent in Dick Harmon as staff director. Once I give the word to go, we're off.
Some 916 jobs.
And every white person associated with it is merely an ally.
It is a tool for our allies to show up differently for us.
I was wondering, is there a white Marxist behind Black Lives Matter?
Displacement.
Now, I've already talked about Black Lives Matter, so there's nothing that needs to be said about it. It is run by George Soros funded organization. It was used to advance the LGBT HDTV community, and it was not for our people. We were exploited by white men that hid behind black faces. Okay, now I'm gonna get to the Tulsa, Oklahoma thing because I want y'all to see what some of these folks are saying about it.
Of people.
And nobody's gonna correct history.
Dramatic videotape.
All right, this is Officer Tatum, the dude that's married to a white woman, and we're going to get into more about him in a minute, but I just want y'all to see what some of the goofy stuff he's saying.
Where this brain dead.
Town LA. And my father was always about working hard and not making excuses.
Larry says,
for the right to vote.
Slaves during slavery. But yet our entire plight of the black community is because of slavery.
It's worse than slavery, bro. It is worse than slavery. We're talking about a heritage stolen. We're talking about a land that's stolen. If you just stick with slavery, then you could say, oh, it's just about slavery, homie. It's way bigger than that. It's a whole conspiracy against a people. I'm not talking about you know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about individuals. I'm talking about a nation of people. I'm talking about that nation of people, their children, their children's children, to their children's children, to their children's children, to their children's children. Thousands of years of hatred towards one people. When you factor in that we are Yahshua, oh, it's way bigger than you think. But of course, you worship the white man's God, the white man's Jesus. So you don't understand it's bigger than this. It's bigger than slavery. This coalition of nations in Psalms 83. In Psalms 83, bro, was written during Dawood's time. There's always been a conspiracy against this nation. There's always been a conspiracy against our people. It's way bigger than slavery. That's what he doesn't understand.
Look at the 1920s and 30s when Black Wall Street was around and black people prospered. Black people were successful. They were working hard. They were building things. Concentration of black success and wealth in the 20s and 30s that we don't even see today.
You know why? The white man destroyed it. But anyway, I'm going to let you continue. Go ahead. Keep tap dancing.
After the civil rights movement, I'm starting to become skeptical of the civil rights movement.
I'm becoming skeptical of the civil rights movement. Do y'all hear what this man is saying?
We are not told the entire truth of the civil rights movement. Because
there's literal videos of black people being sprayed with water hoses, dogs being sicked after them, black people being forced to sit in back of buses. What do you mean that you're skeptical? Oh, because of this dude? Homie, he was a Mason. We know this. We know this is a fact. But when you factor in Jim Crow, when you factor in slavery, you can't sit here and deny that there is an anti-Black spirit that has always been in America. You won't say the damn thing about the white man. You'll just sit there and kiss his ass. This is what's wrong with these house Negroes. They love the white man.
Because Martin Luther King was a socialist.
Free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
Are we just hearing his one speech and people are glorifying his one speech like they glorify BLM?
Racism is not only happening in the United States.
In 20 years from now, Black Lives Matter is going to be the new Martin Luther King movement. And nobody's going to correct history.
Dramatic videotape obtained by Channel 5 News shows what appears to be a group of LAPD officers beating a...
Rodney King, this is in LA where I grew up at. There were riots over this. There was so much proof these cops were beating this man senseless. So much so, he took it to court and he got a law, you know what I'm saying? He filed a lawsuit and he won. There was evidence of what happened to this man, okay? But this guy, Tatum, he used to be a cop, by the way. So, of course, he gonna defend the officers. He always does.
Suspect.
Many of us who had been trying to convince the public that these kind of incidences were happening were almost relieved. It was like, finally, it was on camera.
This is why you can hardly ever trust Black people in this country.
This is why you can hardly ever trust Black people in this country. Homie, these Negroes disgust me. They really do. This is why you, but you can trust the white man, huh? Oh my gosh. Family, I have to keep my bearings together because hearing a Black man say this irritates me. It gets me angry because it's like Jesse Lee Peterson and a lot of these other folks, they love kissing the white man's ass. But this is what I'm trying to show y'all when it comes to these house Negroes. They love the white man. They say nothing bad about the white man. They refuse to. The Black man is the problem. That's their mindset. And this is why it goes to show that, just because somebody, and a lot of our people are going to be indoctrinated with this kind of hate. Black people voting Trump only fuels the gender wars. It only fuels white supremacy. It only fuels the concept of, Black man against Black woman against Black man against Black man in general. It only fuels interracial relationships because that's the next thing they're going to do. Now that people are saying, I'm going to vote Trump, they'll be paying more attention to conservative media and they will become influenced by it. I'm sure they'll have more racially ambiguous people coming out in support of it. This is all an agenda to steer you towards Trump. But yet, the Black conservatives, they sound like the white supremacists. And this is what the Black people who want to vote Trump are not considering at all.
King suffered a fracture.
I did not know that Rodney King took cops on a high-speed chase. And then I went back in the context of that whole scenario. Rodney King never complied. Rodney King.
Oh, we're supposed to comply with the police officers. Okay, Mr. Tatum, we comply all the time and yet we still end up unalived. We literally had shirts that said, don't shoot, with a Black man with his hands in the air. How many times has that happened and he still got unalived? How many times, what about Breonna Taylor? A no-knock warrant. The cops just walked in on this woman and just started bang, 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 bang. I'm sure she would have complied and she would have known what the heck was going on. They didn't even give her a chance to react. They just busted in her house and just started bang, banging. Ahmaud Arbery, same thing. Okay, Eric Gardner, selling loose cigarettes. They choked and strangled this man until he couldn't breathe anymore. He was saying several times, I cannot breathe, I cannot breathe, I cannot breathe. Oh, Father, help me. Disgusting.
Was a criminal, ruining the Black community almost every year of his life. And all of a sudden he becomes a god.
Oh my God.
Terrible. And there's no police presence down here.
The same Rodney King mentality is what we see from the Black community even now. Rodney King is a Philando Castile.
We need to get disruptive a little bit. We need to let them know our pain and what we feel.
Eric Garner,
Angry crowd tonight in the streets.
Jacob Blake,
Overnight fires in media.
Breonna Taylor.
Officers no dramatic videotape obtained.
Rodney King is the same thing that they're doing today.
The death of Eric Gardner. Orlando Castile. Deadly police shootings.
And we are brainwashing people into believing a history that never happened.
Memorial Day.
What? Oh my gosh.
Marks 100 years since the Tulsa Race Massacre.
The infamous massacre that...
Okay, here we go. The Tulsa, Oklahoma Race Massacre. Now look how he tries to water it down, pretty it up, and make it seem like it's not what it was. Just pay attention to the tap dancing. This is some next generation tap dancing here.
Took place in Tulsa, Oklahoma 1 century ago.
The worst incidents of racial violence in this country, the Tulsa Race Massacre of 1921.
The Tulsa Massacre was a race riot before, 2018. These black activists and scholars turned it into the massacre.
We say, he don't even know when it was. He said before 2018. You don't even know when it was. So you clearly haven't done any research. It was in the 1920s, the time where you said black people were prosperous, dumb nigga. Okay, you said 1920s, so black people were prosperous, black people were doing well, black people were doing better, and you don't even know the time frame in which this happened. Do you see what's going on here, family? Oh my gosh, these people are disgusting.
Race massacre.
Race massacre.
Tulsa Race Massacre.
President Biden will visit Tulsa, Oklahoma to mark the 100th anniversary of the Tulsa Race Massacre.
This was not a riot. This was a massacre.
That Tulsa Massacre is bullcrap.
A white mob killed some 300 black Americans.
300 black people died. That's not confirmed at all.
Descendants.
It's not confirmed. Bro, what? Abigail, hey sis, shalom to you. Oh, my. Do you see how far these people will go to be accepted by these folks, our enemies, who the Bible describes as our enemies? Wait till he finds out we are the children of Yasharal. You're going to have that. You're going to be just as shocked as the white man. You'll have your mouth a little bit more wider open than the white man when he finds out.
Of the massacre are calling for justice.
They use this example as to why Black America was never able to build wealth.
It's pretty much a reflection of just the Black experience in America in general.
Never able to pass down wealth generationally to their children.
What would our lives have been if we weren't robbed of our generational wealth?
They always point to this one place in Oklahoma known as the Greenwood District. This was a mindset change as a result of the Civil Rights Movement.
That is a major, tragic, and staggering depression.
Becoming your own man, taking responsibility of your own community. To be the perceived.
Okay, we'll move on, y'all. I think we've seen enough of that. I just wanted to show you the type of stuff you oftentimes will see when it comes to these conservatives, these Black conservatives. And we're going to continue on. I don't want to dwell on this too long, but I'm going to show you some more stuff in a minute here. Okay, let's see. What's the next thing I want to show you? All right. Now, the next thing I'm going to show you guys is I have some videos here on my tab. We're going to look at a few more of them that tie directly to this. Now, you have this conservative character that said something very shocking. I think he took tap dancing to a whole nother level with this one. Have a listen to this one, family.
There are some people that were talking about reparations in this country. They wanted reparations. And I remember I made this particular liberal so angry at me because I told them right to their face, nobody owes you anything for slavery. If you want to tell the truth about it, it is you who owes. It's you who owes. Why do you owe? because somebody in those fields took stripes for you. Somebody, after those fields were ended and slavery was ended, somebody had to walk through Jim Crow for you. Somebody fought wars and died for you. Somebody lived less than because they didn't have what you have, and they did it for you. There are people in their graves right now, and they are there because they were willing to stand up and fight for you. Those folks on the Edmund Pettus Bridge carrying American flags, take that, Colin Kaepernick, living in a society that he could scarcely acknowledge, something that he has never known, living with a bigotry that none of us can imagine. Carried American flags on that bridge, and when they were hit upside the head with nightsticks and shot with water hoses and knocked to the ground, they got up and picked those flags up and kept marching. And they did it for you. Nobody owes you anything. If anybody owes, it's you, because you've been the benefactor of freedom. You are the one that owes.
And this is what these black Republicans will become. With enough indoctrination, with enough sentiments being echoed over and over and over again, this is how the House Negro is made. And we can see clearly with our own ears and eyes that the House Negro is very much alive today. And I'm going to show you one more video before we jump into the Boule, because the Boule is essentially also the modern day House Negroes as well. And they use the Black Boule and the Prince Hall Freemasons to control black people. And many celebrities and people like Steve Harvey, people like Al Sharpton, as I've said, Jesse Jackson, and many other black community leaders are also in on the Black Boule. And they are no friends of ours. Okay? Let me show you this next clip. This is this raccoon, Tim Scott.
Commit to accepting the election results of 2024. Bottom line.
Well, at the end of the day, the 47th president of the United States will be President Donald Trump, and I'm excited to get back to low inflation, low unemployment.
Wait, Senator, yes or no? Yes or no? Will you accept the election results of 2024 no matter who wins?
That is my statement.
But is it just yes or no? Will you accept the election results of 2024?
I look forward to President Trump being the 47th president. Kristen, you could ask him multiple times.
Senator, just a yes or no answer.
So the American people will make the decision.
But I don't hear you committing
for President Trump. That's clear.
I don't hear you committing to the election results.
Here's the challenge.
Will you commit to accepting the election results?
This is why so many Americans believe that NBC is an extension of the Democrat Party. At the end of the day, I've said what I've said, and I know that the American people, their voices will be heard, and I believe that President Trump will be our next president. It's that simple.
But, Senator, as you know, the hallmark of our democracy is that both candidates agree to a peaceful transfer of power. So I'm asking you, as a potential VP nominee, will you accept to commit to the election results in this election cycle, no matter who wins? Just simply yes or no.
I expect President Trump to win the next election. Listen, I'm not going to answer your hypothetical question when, in fact, I believe the American people are speaking today on the results of the election. And if it continues for the next 6 months, we find ourselves in a great position where we get back to another century of American prosperity. Yes. I'm looking forward to that.
Okay, so you can see, family, he does not want to say that if Donald Trump doesn't win, he'll accept the results. Why? Because there's a bunch of Negroes that are tap dancing themselves to try to getting into good graces with Trump to be his vice president selection. Now, take a look at this. This is supposed to be his wife, or so he says, but this dude is gay, okay? This dude is sweeter than Splenda, all right? But this is, of course, he had to pander to the, interracial concept, because, I mean, even if he was pandering and he is not, gay, if he had to present himself as straight and married, he's not going to pander to the conservative party with a black woman, okay? They don't like to see black love, all right? So even though I don't believe this to be his wife, I believe that's just some woman that they told him he needs to have by his side. But I mean, come on, dude, this is fake.
Do it in a way where they basically
look at that, dude. There's no way. There is no way this dude is interested in any woman whatsoever, even a Sheetamite. Okay, you cannot tell me that this dude is attracted to women at all. Okay, even she saw. Like, I'm just let's just watch it.
wraps their criticisms of Donald Trump in praise of his presidency, because they're trying to give a permission structure to his voters to say, yes, I liked him then, or I liked elements of what he.
Like, dude, come on, bro. There's nothing organic about this. Now, I would not be what she saw. I would not be with a Sheetamite. But if I'm with my woman, you know what I'm saying, and I'm in front of the cameras or whatever, I might smack that booty a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, bro, come on. How can I not? I'm a man. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I'm a hands-on kind of guy, as we are, as you know, y'all UD men. You know, that's what we do. But bro, come on, man. This is fake. This dude is LGBTQ. Okay, he is. All right. I mean, it's just what it is. I mean, she looked like a man. Oh no. Okay. Well, I mean, there's nothing down here, bro. This look like a man, cuz this look like a man. Bro. Okay. All right. Okay. I'm gonna just leave that alone, but that looked like a man.
Donald Trump in praise of his presidency. Because
I mean, like, you could just tell there's no chemistry there. There's nothing. This is all for the camera.
They're trying to give a permission structure to his voters to say,
look at that. I mean, there's no chemistry.
Yes, I liked him then, or I liked elements of what.
Look at that. He don't know how to hold her hand. Come on, dude. Bro, it's so fake. It's literally irritating, because he actually thought that he could get people to believe this is real. I mean, the way he holds her hand and walks up, like, I mean, she's not into him. You know what I'm saying? He didn't whisper in her ear. He didn't kiss her neck. He didn't pat the butt. He didn't do nothing. You feel what I'm saying? It's not real. He's gay. Clearly, he's LGBTQ. And the thing is, with the conservatives, they expect, if you are conservative and you're running for vice president, running for president, whatever the case might be, he was running for president at one point. Now, Trump is probably going to most likely be the selection. So now he's trying to get into the position of being vice president. When you're dealing with these white conservatives, they believe heavily in marriage. They believe heavily in family. Considering the fact he did not have a wife, his campaign manager probably told him, you need to get you a white woman, and you need to, you know, essentially promote the fact that you are married. Okay? Otherwise, they will not choose you or want you. But you know what they failed to tell him about? Look at your skin color. Look at your skin color. You think that they're going to choose a dark-skinned, melanated Yahudi over their face of white supremacy, Donald Trump. That's what I'm saying. There's no point in these black people, these Yahudim, to try to get into these conservative circles when all they see is white, white, white.
Say, yes, I liked him then, or I liked elements of what he did then.
Look at that. He was just off
Do it in a way where they.
Now, I want to show you guys something else to prove. When it comes to these people, all they see is color. They tell us not to focus on color, but all they see is color. Who remembers Vivek? Okay, now let's look at this part where she literally told him the truth to his face. Let's watch that video clip real quick.
And I agreed with many, many things you said during, in fact, probably more than most other candidates when you were running for president. But I still would not have voted for you because you're an Indian.
Oh, I would not have voted for you because you're an Indian. Okay. Now, I'm trying to find the full video, because she said something about black people and he was smiling. Let me see if I find it.
And I agreed with many, many things you said during, in fact, probably more.
Okay, no, this ain't it. Hold on, y'all. I'm trying to find the full video. Okay, here we go.
Oh, and I agreed with many, many things you said during, in fact, probably more than is the identity of the WASP, and that most other candidates when you were running for president. But I still would not have voted for you because you're an Indian.
Now she's super conservative. She is super far right wing. What she is saying is, if you ain't white, I'm not voting for you, essentially. But yet he pushed so much anti-black stuff, only to find out that all these folks that you are trying to connect yourself with, they still see you as a dang minority. They will never accept you because you're not white. So he got a kick in the teeth. He got a kick in the face. She told you directly to your face, I would never have voted for you because you're a dang Indian. Okay? So it's like, why are black people trying to get in circles with these people? All they see is white, cuz. That's all they see. That's all they want.
Is on that axis of citizenship, what does...
Okay, I'm trying to find the part where she says something about black people.
Citizenship that has nothing to do...
So much, it's more...
yes. Right, citizenship. Holistic.
I'm trying to find that intro part, y'all.
And I agreed with many, many things.
I don't know. I mean, most clips look like they cut that part out.
I mean,
could you vote for a non-Christian for U.S. president?
I think so.
Okay, I can't find that portion. I was looking for the part where she started saying something about black people. She was like, oh, well, you're very intelligent, but I could say that to you because you're not black. And then he had like this smile on his face. And then when she said that, that smile just left his face. You know what I'm saying? Let me see. I'm trying to find it, y'all. Hold on.
You are so bright and articulate, and I guess I can...
Okay, there we go. That's what I was looking for. Listen to what she says, y'all. And I want you to look at the reaction on his face when she says it.
You are so bright and articulate, and I guess I can call you articulate since you're not an American black.
Okay, you see that smile on his face? Now I want you to look how it all changes. The countenance all changes when she tells him, I would not have voted for you because you're Indian.
Can't say that about them. That's derogatory. And that was a great opening segment. Lots of things to talk about there. Oh, and I agreed with many, many things you said during, in fact, probably more than most other candidates when you were running for president. But I still would not have voted for you because you're an Indian. We'll get back to that. A core...
You see that? She punked him. She punked him, bro, and he just sitting there with this stern look on his face. But you can laugh when it's anti-black stuff.
We'll get back to that. A core have voted for you because you're an Indian.
Look at that face. Oh, you gonna cry? Okay, racism slaps you right in your face. All the anti-black racism you was defending, oh, it's not so good when it slaps you in your face.
What more do you want from me?
I just don't want to believe the truth. You don't want to believe it.
Wake up, sisters. There's no such thing.
There's no such thing as racism. Are you sure about that?
I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon.
I mean, you can sit and spew all this anti-black stuff for these folks only to come and realize that they still will never accept you because you're not white. My, oh my.
You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious?
Oh, I indeed find that so suspicious. I find that so suspicious. Oh me, oh my. All right, y'all, we're gonna keep on going. Now, when I talk about house Negroes, it's important that you understand that these house Negroes are oftentimes your celebrities, your entertainers, your TV show stars, and so on and so forth. And I'm going to show you guys that here in a second. Let me just switch over to my other screen because we need to talk about the Black Boule. Now, before I do, this is just a little bonus clip. It's not about house Negroes or nothing. This is the late great Ray Charles that I'm going to show you here. And he was talking about how, you know, it's a separate situation. It ain't got nothing to do with house Negroes. I just saw it. I was like, you know what, I'll just show this to you guys. We talking about black stuff. But he was talking about how Elvis was literally a dang white version of black entertainers, a culmination of black entertainers that created that style of music, created that style and genre of music, and how they created a white version of a black art, which is what they do all the time. But I'm going to let the late, great Ray Charles say it himself. I'm a huge fan of Ray Charles. I always loved his music, always loved what he did as an artist, as a blues musician, doing the boogie woogie and all, you know, all the things that he did. He would inspire me as a musician. So let's listen to what he says.
It wasn't that good to care about. That sounds terrible, doesn't it? But I mean, maybe some exceptions, though. I mean, Elvis was a talented guy. Well, okay. Not necessarily. You know better than I. Yeah. Let me ask it differently. How good was Elvis? What Elvis did, he caused a lot of the populace, if you want to, and usually when people say populace, they usually mean white people, to start listening to a lot of music that normally they wouldn't have been listening to. I guess I'm going to lose at least about a third of my fans right now. But to say that Elvis was so great and so outstanding, like they say, he's the king. I got in trouble because one guy asked me this question and I said the king of what, and he got mad at me. See, I don't think of Elvis like that because I know too many artists that are far greater than Elvis. I think Elvis person came along at the right time, for here was a white kid that could do rock and roll or rhythm and blues or whatever name you want to call it, and the girls could swoon over him. Nat Cole got in trouble in Alabama when the women swooned over him, got put out of town. And black people been going out shaking their behind for centuries. What the hell's unusual about that shaking the hips and stuff? And that's all Elvis was doing, was copying that. And he was doing our kind of music. He was doing the Willie Mae Thornton jailhouse rock. That's black music. So what the hell am I supposed to get so excited about, man? But I think all this stuff about saying he's the king and he's the piece of bunk. Sorry. Next question. Don't ask me no more about Elvis because you got me enough trouble as it is. I think you covered it though. I don't think a follow-up is necessary.
He said he's a punk. Ray Charles is a real one, bro. He said, man, Elvis is a punk. Facts. Still in everything we do, bro. Even back then. And, you know, I respect, you know, Ray Charles for calling it out because these colonizers been colonizing for a dang long time, homie, since the existence of the white man. All right. So let's keep going. I'm going to show you guys a few examples of the Black Boule because we got to talk a little bit about that. And I'm going to close this out with scripture because it's important we always connect these things to scripture, y'all. All right. So let me give me a second here. Okay. So we're going to watch a few clips on the Black Boule because it's important you understand many of these celebrities are Black Boule. Now, keep in mind, y'all, a lot of these fraternities and sororities are all just a stepping stone to your Prince Hall Freemasons and your Black Boule Freemasons. Freemasons.
But unlike most fraternities.
Okay, you see this symbol on LeBron's chest? It's the same symbol from the I believe it's called Chi Xi Delta. Okay, and this is this deity that's often seen in ancient Egypt as well as Babylon, and that's what he has tatted on his chest. Okay, this winged deity because he's from this fraternity. Okay, so keep in mind, I'm telling you, a lot of these celebrities, they are all compromised. That's why I don't respect them and I don't like them. Because when I see this, I see raccoon. Okay, when I see him, I see these, you know, these rappers and these certain positions. All I gotta say is,
you are raccoon.
Is non-collegiate. Becoming
the Grecian Sphinx. Okay, so just like you had a Sphinx in Egypt, now remember, if you understand history in Maccabees, some of the Grecian empires merged with the Egyptian empires. And that's where you get the Grecian Sphinx, which is a symbol of the Black Boule.
Becoming a member of this fraternity is contingent upon several qualifications. Among the most paramount is excellence of performance in one's field. There are only 5,000 members of Sigma Pi Phi, otherwise known as the Boule. Since the inception of this fraternity in 1904, several dozen of the most well-known so-called black figures of the past century were and are members.
Look at that. Cosby, Wilder,
It is considered
Johnson, Woodson. Now, for some of you youngsters out here, some of these people may be before your time. I mean, definitely are before your time. So you probably don't know who some of them are. Cosby, yes, family. He was Boule. Okay? He was Boule. The majority of these celebrities are. So you shouldn't be shocked if you see familiar faces on here, okay? MLK, also one of them.
considered a great honor to become an archon of
Jesse Jackson, I mentioned him before. Same thing.
the Boule. Members range from W.E.B. Du Bois to Colin Powell, and from Kwesi Mfume to Martin Luther King. Contrary to the perceived notoriety, the purpose for this group, however, is perversely sinister. The Miseducation of the Negro is more than just a book by Carter G. Woodson. It has been a philosophy of American colonialism unto this day. And an essential part of this philosophy is using quasi-classically educated Negroes as harbingers for the black masses. Carter G. Woodson being...
And these are what you call the bourgeois Negroes. Okay, so the Negroes that are a little bit more educated, a little more upright. They kind of walk with their chest puffed out a little bit more, and they have this entitled mindset. Okay, they are essentially chocolate-skinned individuals with the white man's cream on the inside of them. Pause, no diddy. Okay, but that's essentially what they are. They're like Oreos, brown or black on the inside, white on the inside. You feel what I'm saying? And they try to kind of step themselves into, white men's circles, and they are what you call the bourgeois Negroes.
A prime example, whom has been labeled by the establishment father of African American history. Woodson obtained his PhD from Harvard in 1912, where only he and W.E.B. Du Bois were the only black men to achieve such at the time. And at the same point, both of these men would become members of the Boule. One would think by reading Carter G. Woodson's somewhat unapologetically black and African-centric writings that he would have been considered radical and controversial to his white contemporaries. But if it weren't for these so-called white contemporaries, the Carter G. Woodson name would have never seen the eyes of the public. Most of his opposition came from black contemporaries who saw his amalgamation of American blacks with African culture as a conflation of history. As the case may be, the narrative states Carter sought funding in order to continue his endeavors into the establishment of a Negro-centered historical foundation. Inadequate of funding himself, he then turns to the preeminent perpetuators of Negro miseducation for financial backing: the Carnegie Foundation, the Rockefeller Foundation, and the Julius Rosenwald Foundation. These foundations were created by some of the most unscrupulous businessmen in American history. Yet these foundations would fund the
Bro, this is one of the Rothschilds. Bro, he doesn't even look human. I mean, look at his face. Bro. Anyway.
various new black intellectual movements.
Look like he done died about 5 or 6 times. Eat him. All I see is eat him.
That culminated in the Harlem Renaissance.
Hearing about Harlem and going to Harlem became exciting, new, different, and people went. They went to a place that others would say, you really want to go up there. But in fact, going up there could get you the time of your life. And going into, you also have to remember the early 20s during Prohibition, everyone wants to do just the opposite of what the law says. So of course, that's another reason to go to Harlem. Go against the grain. Women, go against the grain socially. Cut your hair, wear the short flapper dresses. Go against societal norms. Harlem was that for white America.
Yeah, that's my bad. Salaki. I meant to say Rockefeller. You know what I'm saying? That's actually who that was Rockefeller. That wasn't Rothschild, that was Rockefeller. But yeah, that absolutely true. I mean, all I see is white folks, Edomites. You know what I'm saying? But yes, that was Rockefeller. So Salaki, forgive me, that was Rockefeller. My bad. Thank you for pointing that out.
The Julius Rosenwald Fund, for example, literally funded most of the renowned artists, musicians, authors, playwrights, and activists of the late 1920s, and many of the names associated prominently in Black American history. People like Claude McKay, Ralph Ellison, Marian Anderson, Julian Bond, W.E.B. Du Bois, Maya Angelou, and Langston Hughes.
Maya Angelou, family. I remember her. Still I Rise was one of my favorite poems that she ever did.
Were paid by the Rosenwald Foundation going all the way back to the 1920s. So these Black figures were being marketed to the masses by a small group of Jewish men as the leading Black scholars in the country. This very same Rosenwald Fund first conducted the degenerate syphilis study in 5 southern states.
And that's what's known as the Tuskegee experiment. And that's what this is talking about.
It's transpiring as a result of their initial blueprint in the Tuskegee experiments. In addition, the Julius Rosenwald Foundation is responsible for the construction of over 5,000 schools. Most of these schools primarily built for Southern Blacks. Why was Rosenwald so interested in helping Black people? Rosenwald himself came from an immigrant family of Jewish merchants.
Ashkenazi, Amalek. So we know that there obviously was some agenda with this Amalekites, this Edomite descendant of Amalek.
As a young man, he learned the family trade as an apprentice in New York and began making clothes. This led to his partnership with Sears Roebuck, who allowed him to buy shares in the company after they were having financial trouble. The company revived under Rosenwald, and he became wealthy. Rosenwald, while working as a young man, developed a close friendship with Henry Goldman, another second-generation German Jew, who was best known for Goldman Sachs, a prime brokerage investment firm.
The further you go back, the more you start to realize that these Amalekites, these Edomite Amalekites, a lot of the Black people and the Yahudim that you see in certain positions, there was always a covenant made with these people every time. You know what I mean? And they always used Black people to their benefit. And it's even like that today. Look who runs the music industry. Look who runs BET. Look who runs every single industry the Black man is a part of, including the NBA. Amalek. Edom.
Firm that his father Marcus founded in Bavaria, Germany. Rosenwald had other powerful friends as well, who would all be instrumental in helping him and people like him become the face of simulated social reform. These men would use their millions to champion the new Black agenda.
You hear that?
When tracing the money to some of the most prominent Black organizations of the past, one is left with one very common denominator. This denominator is the deception behind the miseducation of the Negro, a history signed and sealed in an African slavery-connected identity delivered to you by ignorant or compromised Negroes who have been indoctrinated into a false dogmatic historical cover-up. When reading the words of Black scholars of the past, there seems to be a romanticized African and Black American culture. And consistently, in each case, Du Bois provides no credible historical background into the analytical significance of his comparison, but rather vague conjecture, leading the reader into biased presuppositions. In page 196, Du Bois makes a definitive statement. The social history of the Negro
did not start in America. Okay? Now, we know this to be true. And this is why I say a lot of times when it comes to so-called Black people, they always like to start with you and the Americas. As a matter of fact, many times, now, they love to say that, you know what I'm saying, some people love to push this idea now that we were already here. But that's not the truth. Okay? If you know anything about real history, not the white man, not Joseph Smith, not the colonizer, you understand that the Yahudim were builders of the civilizations of Timbuktu, as well as the Songhai Empire in Africa. This is what I'm saying. If you are literally saying you were born here, then you're saying, first of all, you're disproving that you're even a Yasharali. That's number one, or a Yahudi. Number two, you are also missing the building blocks of our history prior to slavery. So if you're saying slave ships never happened and so on and so forth, it only really just disqualifies you from being Yasharal. So, I mean, I'm just trying to get people to understand we were greater than what they're telling us. They're telling us we are here in America. That's foolishness because our people did way more before we got here. Do your research.
Did not start in America. With just this statement alone, W.E.B. Du Bois threatens the historical credibility of his entire career of works. Understanding the original American was reclassified as African and Negro in the century prior to his birth is a reflection never echoed in his work. Furthermore, the reclassification of a people and lacking in acknowledgement of heritable indigenous rights is verifiable treachery. If Du Bois was a true historian, then he would have developed his own legitimate historical perspective and outline concerning the history of the so-called African American. Instead, his writings are the bougie Zionist propagated social commentaries.
Okay, so you see who's behind it? The Zionists. They're behind this whole, you know what I'm saying, foundational Black American, you know, I hate Africa, so on and so forth. That's them behind this. That's them getting you to love this land. That's them wanting you to say, well, I'm actually native. I'm actually indigenous. They're behind all of this, family. They're the ones who created this. So listen, they absolve themselves of guilt in the slave trade when they can convince the Black man, Black woman, Black child that there was no slave trade, that there was no transatlantic slave trade, because the Ish people were the ones who owned the ships, okay? They were the ones who owned them. They are behind it. They are trying to absolve themselves of guilt in their hand in the slave trade. Saying it never happened is only allowing the Ish people to literally say, well, I had nothing to do with it. Why do you hate me? Don't fall for it. They are just as guilty as the white Caucasoid Christians, the Ishmaelites, the Arabs, and everybody else from the Psalms 83 conspiracy. You need to be presenting your case against all these nations. I am.
Of an uppity Negro. As someone who had completed an entire database in which he had gathered census information on Southern American plantation owners and slave statistics, Du Bois never dedicated any of his writings toward the indigenous American culture that existed on the continent prior to colonialism and its connection to blacks in America. If anything,
now, when I look at these people, honestly, do not look like our people. I mean,
Du Bois could have been an instrument.
Look at this. See, people see images like this and they're like, oh, these are our people. But look at the hair texture, family. Okay, look at the little, the little Pocahontas braids and stuff like this, right? These are not our people, bro. Okay, this right here is he looked like he a $5 Indian. But even some of the darker skinned so-called indigenous Americans look very different from us. Where is his facial hair? Where is the full-on beard and mustache like us Yahudi men have? Where is it? This is a full-grown man or a woman. I don't know. I can't tell. I mean, you ain't got no facial hair. How am I supposed to be able to tell?
Of the first American black.
Oh, that's a woman? Oh my gosh. This is what I'm saying. How can you tell? How do you know what's a man? How do you know what's a woman if there's no facial hair? You feel me? I mean, maybe that is a boy. I don't know. I can't tell, bro. I can't tell.
Original beef. Instead of East versus West Coast rappers, it was Northern versus Southern Negroes. In writings that allude to the Northern Negro as progressive and the Southern Negro as a peon or pauper. His work, however, doesn't come completely without historical legitimacy, but instead narrated from the perspective of an outsider or spectator.
All right, we're going to fast forward a little bit, family.
About 1947, when I was standing with my father on a college campus in Ohio. My father and Du Bois were acquaintances, if not friends. And Du Bois apparently approached and asked me what I intended to do with my life. And I was then about 9 years old. I could now tell him a good part of my life was taken up. And
hold on, wait. Let me address this comment. We are not flesh. Adam was made of clay. Eve was beguiled, is what she told Most High. Beguiled, a synonym of seduced. We were spirit before the tree. Okay, sis, listen, it was not sex. Okay? Eve did not, or Kua did not sleep with the serpent. Beguiled means to deceive. Okay? And even when you read Enoch or Kanuk, it says that he deceived Eve. Beguiled does not mean sex. Let me show you. When you think of seduce, it does not mean the concept of sexual intercourse, because it can literally mean hoodwink. So let me show you, sis. Do not listen to, people that are telling you otherwise, because look, this is beguile in the definition. It means to hoodwink, okay? To deceive, to lead by deception, to engage the interest of it by guile, okay? Guile, all right, is to deceive somebody, to deceive someone, to mislead them, okay? She did not sleep with the serpent. Okay, and as a matter of fact, we can literally go to the Bible, and I'll show you the word that they have for it. So, serpent deceived Eve, and even when you go to the book of Enoch, it literally supports the fact that she was deceived by the serpent, not that she slept with the serpent. So, Genesis, we're gonna go to Genesis 3:13, real quick. Just gotta prove it real quick. Barashif, chapter 3, verse 13. And Yahuwah said unto the woman, what is this thou hast done? The woman said, the serpent beguiled me. Now let's look at what that word means. Okay, you got to look it up in the Abari to prove all things. Okay, Nasha. Now Nasha, look, it says NASA. That's funny. Nasha means to deceive. All right, boom. All right, you've got the noon, you've got the sheen, and you've got the ayin, Nasha. So it looks like it says NASA, but it's actually pronounced Nasha, Nasha, okay? Nasha means to deceive. That's exactly why NASA really means to deceive, which is right here. To beguile, to deceive. Okay? To beguile, to deceive, or to be beguiled. Okay? Deceive, greatly beguiled me. All right? So it means deceive. It does not mean sex. Now, seduce. Now, when you seduce somebody, that doesn't necessarily mean in a sexual way, right? So he had seduced her into believing. Remember, it says that she looked at the fruit and she saw that it was good to eat. He had seduced her into eating of the tree or eating of the fruit, but it does not mean he laid with her. Okay, so we need to be careful about some of these Gentile, interpretations of things. But yeah, it says right here to seduce, to beguile, to deceive. It does not say anything about intercourse. So just keep that in mind. Now, is there a serpent seed? Yes, there is a serpent seed. There is definitely a serpent seed. I did a whole documentary on it. That serpent seed is the fallen, the descendants of the fallen. But it's not because she laid with a snake. I mean, that's literally insane. I understand, yeah, we have to agree to disagree. I mean, no harm, but I also read it up and down and it makes sense. I mean, I get that, sis, but again, if you don't break it down in the Bari, it's really, you really can't prove anything unless you understand the language. And that's really honestly the truth. But yeah, we could agree to disagree, but I'm just saying, I mean, when you understand the Bari, it does destroy the white English lies. So just keep that in mind. All right, back to this.
Answering that question by writing the first of his 2-volume biography.
Why is this nigga talking like that? He gotta be Boule.
Who was he?
Wait, what did he say?
My father and Du Bois were acquaintances, if not friends, and Du Bois apparently approached and asked me what I intended to do with my life. And I was then about 9 years old. I could now tell him a good part of my life was taken up answering that question by writing the first of his 2-volume biography.
Why is...
Yeah, he's definitely bourgeois and Boule. You know what I'm saying? Just the way he's talking, once again, trying to fit in with certain circles of people. So now you just, you do your tap dancing the best you can.
This nigga talking like that. He gotta be Boule.
Who was he? W.E.B. Du Bois was a man who lived about 95 years, and so his life really spans the 20th century and its issues and its major personalities. He was born in the North, in Great Barrington, Massachusetts, a small town in the Berkshires, and educated elementary and high school there, and then attended college at Fisk University in Tennessee, and then took a second bachelor's at, which is one of the well strike up.
And several with non-indigenous American roots. It is a matter of fact, non-American blacks were at the forefront of black Hegelian deception in the early 20th century, as the quasi-leading voices of black America were tokens funded by Zionist, Jewish, first and second generation immigrants. Du Bois, although American-born, was the offspring of Anglo-Dutch.
All right, we're going to keep on going, y'all. There's still so many more parts to this. Christian Zionist puppets. Oh, that one definitely might be something worth showing people. And then we're also going to talk about the sororities and all of that in this video. There's so many points to this. The Methodist Episcopal Church, the Christian church was also a part of it. So there's several parts to this, but we're going to just kind of skim through some of these. So let's go to this one about the Christian Zionists.
James Forten, who was actually born free and became one of, if not the most influential of all the Negroes in Philadelphia. James Forten had served in the Navy as a privateer during the Revolutionary War. He was taken prisoner by the British Royal Navy during his stint, but was later released after being imprisoned for 9 months. He returned to Philadelphia and apprenticed as a ship sailmaker in a business previously worked by his deceased father, who had died on the job under business owner Robert Bridges. After the retirement of Bridges, Forten, who had become a foreman and Bridges' best employee, took a loan and purchased the business in 1798. In 1810, Fortin transported 38 free blacks to Sierra Leone with the idea they could make a better life where not impeded by white racism. He was well aware of continuing problems due to harsh discrimination against blacks in the United States. To address community concerns and discuss potential for colonization, James Fortin worked with Bishop Richard Allen of the African Methodist Episcopal Church, the first independent black denomination in the United States, Absalom Jones and James Goulchester, to organize a meeting on this topic in Philadelphia. Their announced meeting in January 1817 at Bethel AME Church drew 3,000 attendees from Philadelphia. Hearing the strong views of this public forced a dramatic turning point for these leaders. By this time, most free blacks and slaves had been born in the United States and claimed it as their own, with their own families. At the meeting, Fortin called for a vote asking who favored colonization. Not one man said yes. When he asked who was against it, the crowd resounded with a no that made the hall ring. All claimed the U.S. as their own and wanted to gain their full civil rights as citizens. After that meeting, Fortin and the ministers strongly opposed the ACS, and Fortin later converted William Lloyd Garrison, a younger white abolitionist from Boston, against the colonization schemes. Following the January meeting, Fortin helped draft a resolution of the sense of the public, which he and other leaders sent to the Pennsylvania congressional delegation. In August, they published a longer address to the inhabitants of the city and county of Philadelphia, which attacked colonization. End quote. Perhaps James Fortin was the most influential black in the entire country, and he adamantly opposed relocating to Africa, as did many of his countrymen. Fortin had not been born a slave and did not inherit his status. He was a self-made man, to the utmost respect of his peers.
Now, keep in mind, he was not born a slave, probably most likely because he had been groomed into this black Boule position, and he was already a bourgeois Negro. So it's like if he's bourgeois, then he most likely didn't really need to be programmed in the way that the field Negro that became the house Negro was programmed. He was born into it. Therefore, he would be the perfect type of individual that they would not need to program because he already had an uppity way about him. You feel what I'm saying?
Which he earned by representing them to the opposition of their white so-called friends. Abolitionists and Quakers, along with Methodists, held themselves as the liberators of blacks in America. Among their objectives, concocting a scheme to displace black Americans from their homeland. From the Virginia Slave Act, Henning's statutes at large are hereby adjudged, deemed, and taken, and shall be adjudged of the South, similar to the Warwicks who moved north during Reconstruction in hopes to obtain prominence within the northern bloc.
All right, we'll move on to the next section. The African-American Boule is an enemy to black America. All right, now these are some typical Negroes.
African Boule Society, and what impact do they have on the African American community? The African American Boule is a clandestine organization with significant influence over the African American community in the United States and the Caribbean.
Now you would see these Negroes out in the streets without, the homo Freemason, apron, right? Just regular Negroes in the street. You would never think that these people are Boule. That's what I'm telling you. You can't really go off the fact that these folks look like us. They are our own flesh and blood. You cannot go off of that because you don't know what type of stuff they're into. I'm sure every single one of y'all, whether you know or not, have somebody in your family that either was a Mason or was affiliated with them. Now, some of these folks do not make it to the higher degrees, but it doesn't mean that they're still not working for Lucifer. made a covenant with Lucifer.
Established on May 15, 1904, under the Sigma Pi Phi fraternity, it was conceived by Henry Minton and founded by Eugene T. Hinson, Robert J. Abel, Algernon B. Jackson, Edwin C. J. T. Howard, and Richard J. Warwick Jr. This society, often referred to as just the Boule, comprises wealthy black individuals who recruit members primarily from Greek letter organizations.
You see that? So when you think of like your sororities, your fraternities, this is usually where they recruit you from. So if you have family members that are involved in these sororities and fraternities, you need to be careful because they're well on their way. The next step when they're in these is to move into Freemasonry. And this is usually the stepping stone of Freemasonry right here.
And universities. Members of the Boule are initially drawn from these Greek organizations, where they commit to Greek life before swearing oaths upon climbing the ranks of the Boule. Their roles within the organization are designated, with the head being referred to as Grand Sire Archon and subordinates as Sire Archons. New male members are known as Archons, while women are called Archouzels. The Boule operates as gatekeepers for white society, promising its members wealth and notoriety as long as they uphold the status quo and never disclose the secrets entrusted to them. Modeled after the Skull and Bones secret society at Yale, the Boule maintains a strict code of secrecy and influence. Prominent figures like W.E.B. Du Bois, Martin Luther King Jr., Jesse Jackson, and Obama have been counted among its members, reflecting its significant impact on African-American leadership and
so a lot of these folks you can see are just basically Freemasons. We got Pastor Darby right here. Might as well play him as well.
Whites people belong to. And when I give you this understanding, you will know why we never get anything accomplished. The Boule means advisor to the king. That means their job was to advise the king. Now, the black Boule was to advise the king, which was white supremacists. So their job was to advise the king about the black community. Because they formed the Boule because they did not want another Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey, that's why they slandered him so bad. Marcus Garvey was doing things as a black man nobody was ever doing. Ain't done it since. And he understood the way to get up out of here is to stop sucking from the government's teat and to get on our feet and do for ourselves and then get up out of the land. Don't stay in the land of your enemy. Get out of the land and go to our own land. That's what he was talking about back to Africa, where, so what the reason why you have the mentality right now, I ain't no African, I'm American, that comes from the Boule. That come from those uppity Negroes teaching you that no, that's the wrong thinking. See, we got to go along to get along.
You see that? That anti-African stuff, that's Zionist stuff, y'all. Making you hate everything about Africa, making you think America is really the chosen. That's Boule stuff. Why do you think foundational Black American or FBA is now the thing? Okay, that is the Boule at work. So when I think of like somebody like Tariq Nasheed, okay, he's clearly Boule. All right. Anybody, you got to be careful about Black people pushing this anti-African stuff. That is these gatekeepers pushing that on you, for real. That's what I'm saying. I am not no dang Native American, Indigenous American homie. I'm a Yahudi. I'm a Yahudi, a Bari, Yashua Lee. I'm a son of the Most High. I'm not his son. I am a son of Yahuwah, one of his beloved children. I won't claim nothing else. I ain't black, nigga. I ain't none of that. I am a Yahudi. Period, point blank. And so many of our people are falling for this Freemason stuff. But I'm going to play it again because I want you to hear it.
And do for ourselves and then get up out of the land. Don't stay in the land of your enemy. Get out of the land and go to our own land. That's what he was talking about back to Africa, where, so what the reason why you have the mentality right now, I ain't no African, I'm American, that comes.
I ain't no African, I'm American. See, this is what I'm talking about. Gatekeepers. Gatekeepers, homie. The white man wants you to think that Africa is your enemy. And I get it. There's Hamites out there. I know. But you got to understand, our people were around Hamites. They weren't the same as them, but they were amongst Hamites, okay? That's why the Northern Kingdom is in Africa, family. Markia says, yes, foundational Black Americans, and they've crept their way into the awakening as well. Yes, sis. Absolutely, beloved sister, Markia. And so many of our people, man, it's so sad. The Yahudim want to mix loving America, the land of your captivity, with scripture. Matter of fact, let me just, because there's this person that follows me a lot on here on YouTube, and I've already disproven to them that, you know, you can't be of the tribes and then claim America's the promised land. It's just goofy stuff. So look, let me show you. Deuteronomy 28:68. Let's go there real quick, okay? Because I just want to show you, you can't claim to be, you know, these are the lands of our, you know, our captivity, but then also say that, you know, you came here and we've already been here and stuff, okay? All right, so let's read Deuteronomy 28:68 and let's see what it says. And the Most High Yahuwah, Yod-He-Uah-He, shall bring thee into Egypt, Matzraim, okay? Again, Shub, Anayah, with ships, okay? By the way whereof I spake unto you, you shall not see it again. And there you shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. Now, keep in mind, when you look at this word, Gana means that redeem. So it should say, no man shall redeem you, okay? Which is why I say putting trust in men is the worst thing you can do, because Yahuwah meant what he said, okay? But it says that you will be sold into Matzraim. Now, when it says Matzraim, it's not talking about the same Egypt in Africa. This means house of bondage. Okay, many times when Yahuwah pulled up, you know, you look at the scriptures, it said house of bondage. Let me show you that real quick. So he was talking about another house of bondage that you would go into. Okay, Exodus or Shemuth 13:3. And Moses said unto the people, remember this day in which you came out of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. So Egypt is likened to a house of bondage. Exodus 13:14. And it shall be when son asketh thee in time, saying, what is this? What shall say unto him? By the strength of the hand of the Most High, brought us out of Egypt from the house of bondage. Deuteronomy 5:6. I am Yahuwah, thy Eluah, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. So Egypt can be likened unto a house of bondage. And then we can just keep on going. House of bondage, Egypt, house of bondage, Egypt, house of bondage. Okay? Now, what I'm trying to understand here, to people that believe that this is truly our land, how do you factor in that this is where we were already here, but we did not come here on slave ships, when it clearly says with ships? We will be brought into a house of bondage in ships. Make it make sense. It doesn't make sense, bro. It really doesn't. Now, let's take it a little step further. Yahuwah said, I've scattered you among the heathen. Okay? Now, we're going to go to Deuteronomy again, because I'm going to show you something else that don't make sense if you're saying this is the true promised land. Yahuwah said, a nation will come from afar with a tongue who you do not understand. Let me go to that real quick. Deuteronomy, I believe that's 28. Let's see. Deuteronomy 28:49. Let's go there real quick. Deuteronomy 28:49. 28, verse 49. Let's go there. It says, and Yahuwah shall bring a nation against thee from the far end of the earth. So wait a minute. We were in Egypt at the time that this was being said in the wilderness. He said a nation will come from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flies, a nation whose tongue you shall not understand. So wait a minute, y'all. He says, Yahuwah says he will bring a nation against you from afar, from the far ends of the earth. So how is this our land of our captivity, but at the same time, you're also saying this is where we already were? This doesn't make any sense, dude. It really doesn't. And it's, you know what? Listen, To everybody that wants to believe that we're Native Americans and all this goofy stuff, woe unto you. Because you're going to end up loving this land so much, you're going to miss the Exodus, and you're going to be destroyed right along with the land you love so much. Oh, boy. So when Yahuwah say he scattered us among the heathen, I guess it didn't apply to Yahudah. I guess the Most High was just lying. So let's go to another witness, Isaiah. And I use this scripture very, very often, but I want to prove it. And I saw some scriptures in the chat. We'll go to those two to prove all things. So if you guys have scriptures, we can jump into them together. Isaiah 11. It shall come to pass that day that Yahuwah shall set his hand again the second time and recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria, Egypt, Pathros, Cush, Elam, Shinar, Hamath, and from the islands of the sea. And he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Yasharal, and gather together the dispersed of Yahudah from the four corners of the earth. So Yahudah is literally everywhere, but the northern kingdom is here in these different countries in Africa. All right, let me look at some of these scriptures here. Right, I'm a stranger to this land, just like our ancestors were strangers to Egypt. Baruch Rishon, and they shall praise me in the land of captivity and think upon my name. Baruch Rishon, okay? First Baruch 2, verse 32. Matter of fact, let's go to Baruch real quick. Let's go to Baruch real quick. So second Baruch. And Yahuwah also said that we would be taken into the land among the heathens. Hold on, let me see. 230. Baruch 230. Okay, let's just read this whole chapter, bro. Why not? I'm gonna go to the KJV and let's read this. Okay. So we'll start off at scroll down a little bit. Okay, let's start off at verse. Okay. We'll start off at verse 31. Okay. Or actually 30. For I knew that they would not hear me because it is a stiff-necked people, but in the land of their captivity, they shall remember themselves. Wait a minute. So all this time, we thought we were so-called African Americans. All this time, we thought we were so-called black people. All this time, we thought we were so-called colored. All this time, we thought we were so-called hard ERs. But here in the land of our captivity, where we served 400 years, now we remember ourselves. So we lost our heritage clearly. And they shall know that I am Yahuwah their Eluah, for I will give them a heart and ears to hear. And they shall praise me in the land of their captivity and think upon my name. So how do we find out our Father's name? In the land of our captivity, we knew his name was Yahuwah. And return from their stiff-necked ways and from their wicked deeds, for they shall remember the way of their fathers, which sinned before Yahuwah. Is that not what's happening right now? Us keeping the laws, keeping the commandments, ask the Most High to forgive us for the ways of our ancestors. Remember the way of our fathers, coming into these feast days, calling on Yahuwah. And I will bring them again to the land which I promised with an oath unto their fathers, Abraham, Yashak, Uyakub, and they shall be masters of it, and I will increase them, and they shall not be diminished, and I will make an everlasting covenant with them to be their Eluah, and they shall be my people, and I will no longer drive my people of Yasharal out of the land that I had given them. So if this is the promised land, where is the Messiah? Why are we not dwelling in peace and safety? Because that's another thing that the scriptures say when we get back to the land, that none shall make us afraid. But yet we getting shot dead by the police dang near every dang day. Okay? Them centers unalive and aborting children are continuing to unalive our people. People don't realize, most people that think this just don't know the scriptures. And that's facts. Facts. We will no longer take your bywords, throw it in the trash. Okay? Your color codes that you use to describe us, throw it in the trash. Okay? Call us what we are. We are Yashara. We are the Yahudim. Ahaya Yahudi. I am Yahudi. Okay, I am not black. I am not black. Okay, you want to say I'm melanated? I'll take that. But saying I'm melanated just describes what I look like. But it don't tell you who I am. I'm going to tell you who I am. I'm Yexa. I'm a Yahudi. I'm from the tribe of Yahuda. Palestine, Yahuda. Yada Yahuda. Yeah. So you want to say I'm black?
Why you always lying? Oh my God. Stop fucking lying.
You feel me? So let me make that clear. I no longer will accept these bywords that they want to put on us. So when I fill out an application or whatever, I'm not going to put black. I'm not going to put African American. If it ain't got Yahudi on there, if it ain't got a Bari, I ain't putting no checkbox. Okay? I'll just leave it blank. Other. Because they sure as heck don't got Yahudi or a Bari Yashua Ali right there. They don't got Hebrew Israelite on that. So therefore, how can I check that box? I'm none of those things. I'm going to proudly declare that I am a child of Yahuwah. I'm going to proudly declare I am Yahudi Abari. Yahudi Abari, Yashua Ali, Shabak Yahuwah, Yada Yahuwah, Kalkabad Yahuwah, Atah. Let it be known. I'm not black. I'm not African American. I ain't none of that. I don't want none of these things. Khan Aki Abari Rahuyim says Yehudi and Abari all day. Fire emojis. Yes, Khan. Don't let them call you black anymore. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I get it. Sometimes I use that language when I'm discussing this and I'm talking about this, but I do not consider myself to be that. Now that Yahuwah has granted us, given us back our heritage, restored us back to who we are, may his will be done. All right, family, we're going to close this out. I got some scriptures I want to just give you about the house Negroes, and I want to tell you guys to be careful, okay? Because there are many amongst us, and I'm going to show you right now a scripture. There are many of our people, even during the time of the Maccabean revolt, that were house Negroes, essentially. So I'm going to take you to the scriptures, and we're going to look at these little few examples in Maccabees of these house Negroes that were making covenants with the heathens and working against our own. Just to show you that, you know, you even had them back in the biblical times. So the first place we're going to go, let me actually switch over here to the Apocrypha. So let's go to First Maccabees. We're going to go to 39 through 43. Actually, wait a minute. Yeah, chapter 1. And let's read this here real quickly. Whoops. Okay. 39 through 43. Okay. So we'll start here at 34 just for context. And they put therein a wicked nation, wicked men, and fortified themselves therein. They stored it, and also with armor and victuals. When they had gathered the spoils of Jerusalem, they laid them up there, so they became a sore snare. For it was a place to lie in wait against the sanctuary, and an evil adversary to Yasharal. Thus they shed, this is talking about the Macedonians, thus they shed innocent blood on every side of the sanctuary and defiled it, insomuch, listen to this, that the inhabitants of Jerusalem fled because of them, whereupon the city was made a habitation of strangers and became strange to those that were born in her, and her own children left her. Her sanctuary was laid waste like a wilderness. Her feasts were turned into mourning, and her Shabbats unto reproach, and her honor into contempt. As had been her glory, so was her honor and dishonor increased, and her excellency was turned into mourning. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to this whole kingdom that all should be one people. So the heathens had set up shop in Jerusalem and in the city of Yahud, or what you call Judea in the English. And everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. Yet also many of the Yasharim consented to his religion and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Shabbat. So some of our own flesh and blood went along with what the heathens wanted to do, consented to this religion, sacrificed unto their pagan deities, and profaned the Shabbat. For the king has sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and to the cities of Yahud, that they should follow the strange laws of this land, and forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, that they should profane the Shabbats and festival days and pollute the sanctuaries and the Kadash people. So as you can see, family, this is Christianity, essentially. It literally existed even prior to Constantine and all of that, because this was before Messiah. So you can see they told us to forsake our ways and, to do these unclean feast days, forbid burnt offerings, sacrifice, drink offerings, to keep the Torah, okay? They told you not to do it. So we could clearly see when you read Maccabees, a lot of this was essentially the building blocks of Christianity. We see whether there's so much lawlessness, okay? All right, now we're going to go up a little bit more because I want to show you another example, okay? So let's read. This is First Maccabees chapter 1, verses 10 through 11. And there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes, son of Antiochus the king, who had been a hostage at Rome. And he reigned in the 137th year in the kingdom of the Greeks. In those days, went out there, out of Yasharal, wicked men, okay? Wicked men of Yasharal, our own flesh and blood, who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us, for since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow, okay? So they had some issues, and what do they want to do? They wanted to go make a covenant with our enemies. House Negroes. These Yasharalim were called wicked men. Why? Because they were working against the nation, bringing in the outsiders, making a covenant with the heathens, okay? Then certain people were so forward herein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathens. Listen to this, y'all. These folks, these Hellenized house tap dancing Yasharalim went to the king to have him give them permission to do the ordinances of the heathen, and they were encouraging our people, come on, let's go make a covenant with them. House Negroes. These are modern day house Negroes. Even in biblical texts, you will see them. All right, let's keep going. We're going to stay in the book of Maccabees. Let's go to Maccabeem Rishon, chapter 6, and we're going to read 19 through 24. We're going to see more examples of this. All right, so we'll start off at 18. About this time, they that were up in the tower shut up the Yasharalim around about the sanctuary, and sought always their hurt and the strengthening of the heathen. Wherefore, Yahuda, okay, Yahuda Maccabees is who this is talking about, purposing to destroy them, called all the people together to besiege them. Verse 20. So they came together and besieged them in the 150th year, and he made mounts for shots against them and other engines. Howbeit, certain of them that were besieged got forth, unto whom some unrighteous men of Yasharal joined themselves. And they went unto the king and said, how long will be here to execute judgment and avenge our brethren? We have been willing to serve your father and to do as he would have us and to obey his commandments. Do you see this, y'all? They were telling the king, we'll go along with it as long as you're here. Just how much longer? Because, we kind of want to return to our ways, but, as long as you're here, we'll just go along with this. For which cause they of our nation to besiege the tower and are alienated from us. Moreover, as many of us they could light on, they slew and spoiled our inheritance. So our own flesh and blood besieged the tower. They were alienated from us, and many of them ended up being slew because they were spoiling our inheritance by allowing the heathens to come in and making covenants with them. House Negroes, even then, bro. Okay, let's keep going. I'm gonna give you guys a few more verses from Maccabees. Let's go to 7, and we're gonna read 26 through 27. Then the king sent Nicanor, one of his honorable princes, a man that bare deadly hate unto Yasharal, which commandment to destroy the people. So Nicanor came to Jerusalem with a great force and sent unto Yehuda and his brethren deceitfully with friendly words, saying, let there be no battle between me and you. I will come with a few men that I may see you in peace. He therefore came to Judas, and they saluted one another peaceably. Howbeit, the enemies were prepared to take away Yehuda by violence. Which thing, after it was known to Yehuda, to wit, that he came unto him with deceit, he was sore afraid of him, and he would see his face no more. Nicanor also, when he saw that his counsel was discovered, went out to fight against Yehuda inside Kerphashalama, where there were slain of Nicanor's side about 5,000 men, and the rest fled into the city of David. Okay, so once again, speaking peaceably, deceitfully with friendly words. I mean, bro, when I read this book, it's just so likened to a certain people that's still on this earth today, which proves that they're descendants of these people. But anyway, okay, so we can see that this man had hate towards our people. He came, he spoke peaceably, but the moment we let our guard down, boom, destruction, violence. Okay, let's go to, and last, I'm going to go to Maccabee and Rishon, 1 Maccabees chapter 10, 59 through 61, and we'll close this thing out. Okay, 59 through 61. Now, King Alexander had written unto Jonathan, or Jonathan, that he should come and meet him, who thereupon went honorably to Ptolemais, where he met the two kings and gave them and their friends silver and gold, and many presents, and found favor in their sight. Now, keep in mind, Jonathan was one of our own, a Yasharali, or a Yahudi. At that time, certain pestilence fellows of Yasharal, men of a wicked life, assembled themselves against him to accuse him, but the king would not hear them. Interesting. So there were wicked men of Yasharal that were accusing these kings, but one of the kings would not hear them. Yea, more than that, the king commanded to take off his garments and clothe him in purple, and they did so. And he made him sit by himself and said unto his princes, go with him into the midst of the city and make proclamation that no man complain against him in any matter, and that no man trouble him for any matter of cause. Now, when his accusers saw that he was honored according to proclamation and clothed in purple, they fled away. Family, there is just too many examples here of these other Yashuralim making covenants with the heathens and working against our people in wicked ways. Okay, so is the modern day house Negro, y'all. So is the modern day house Negro. And that's why I'm telling you, y'all need to be careful. All right, Nathaniel, IUIC, he's no different than these house Negroes we done talked about today. And obviously he is if he's Boule. These folks literally helped these people get into the temple, told them how to get into the temple, told them how many Yasharim would be there. They thought because they had troubles that if they make a covenant with the heathen will not turn against them. This is why the Bible says, trust not thine enemy. I don't. I done seen too many examples of what the scriptures say for me to understand that when I'm dealing with the other nations, I got to be very, very careful. I got to always have one eye open. The moment you let your guard down, bang, stabbed in the back. So anyway, family, that's it for me. I'm jumping off of here. I hope this message was comprehensive and understandable, and why you understand why you got to be very, very careful when it comes to these Negroes that look like you. Oh, you know what? I totally forgot to show y'all this. Let me just give this to you before I go.
That white Jesus picture is one of the greatest weapons of mass destruction in the black community. When a black boy or girl goes to Sunday school and look at a white Jesus from birth until age 5, by the time they go to kindergarten, they have already been convinced that if God is white, then it's okay for the president to be white. It's okay for the judge to be white. It's okay for the CEO to be white. It's okay for the police to be white, because if God is white, then all white people must be of God. And it puts you in a subservient posture. And if God is white, then the devil must automatically be black by contraindication, which is why black folks got to stop worshiping a white Jesus. You cannot talk about black power giving your child the deity of an enemy for worship. No people worships worships their deity in the image of their enemy or oppressor. No one does except slaves. And that's exactly what we are, because you can take the slave out of slavery, but until the slave takes the slavery out of himself, he will never be free. Which is why I think now we suffer from more post-traumatic slavery disease now, Charlemagne, now, than we did when slavery ended. 150 years later, how can you say it's worse now than when slavery ended? Because in psychology, there's something known as a delayed onset of illness. Someone gets raped or in a car accident, they might have no side effects. 10 years later, now they're having dreams of the traumatizing event. So I believe that when slavery ended, we walked off the plantation. We were hurt, but we really didn't understand how deeply it impacted us. And what you see going on in Black America now is the delayed onset of our psychological illness of self-hate, giving full expression to what it is.
I can see how that could cause more trauma.
Okay. So when you think about, and that's another thing, family, he's so right. I don't agree with Umar about a lot of things, but he makes a lot of good talking points. People say, you are not a slave. You are not enslaved. Who cares if you're a descendant of slaves? What we are asking for when we talk about reparations is the psychological damage. If anything, we have claims to the psychological damage that has been passed down. Yeah, sure. We didn't have to be slaves to experience the aftermath of the psychological damage that has taken place. We have claims to psychological damage. It's just like when you think about people that sue somebody and they sue them for emotional damage. It's more than emotional. It's psychological. It's spiritual. Okay? The self-hate that we experience is an example of the psychological damage of slavery. The white Jesus, the Eurocentric standard of beauty that they try to, push on Black people. I mean, I could tell you, 100% that, my family definitely descended from slaves. The fact that, even the behaviors I had seen in my family and my father and things like that. My family is originally from the South. When I see them eating all this hog and, soul food and all this stuff, realizing that that's all an example of slavery. That's all an example of the hog that they fed us. Knowing that we was the chosen, knowing that we was Yasharal, and they over here feeding us dang pig's flesh. They knew what they was doing. We honestly want the reparations for how this has affected us to this day. It wouldn't have been so bad. It wouldn't have been so bad if there wasn't so much of these ideas still being pushed today. We would have overcome it, but they had to keep that psychological damage in place, and it got passed on from generation to generation to generation. Maybe one of these days we're gonna go through the Willie Lynch letter, because it's important you understand that too. Speaking of the pig or the swine, they actually forced us to eat swine even in Maccabees. That's another thing I wanted to show you guys before I leave. Give me a second here. The Maccabees, they were forcing them to eat swine. Right here. Maccabees, 4th Maccabees. Let's go there real quick, y'all. I mean, it's just too many parallels to ignore when it comes to the scripts. Let's go to Maccabees Rabbi, 4th Maccabees, chapter 5. Let me share my screen. Give me a second. Okay. Oh, they don't have Maccabees chapter 5. Okay, hold on, y'all. I'm gonna have to go on the internet and look it up. Maccabees 4th Maccabees. Let me go there real quick. Let's see. Yep, right here. Wonderful. They got it. All right. Yada yaua. Let me switch over to this screen. Let me take this off. Give me a second. Okay. All right. So let me take you guys to 4th Maccabees, and we're going to just read chapter 5 real quick. I just want to show you they were doing the same things they did to us in slavery. You know why? They the same people. They the same people. But let's read this. Okay, let's see. This is chapter 1. Let me go to chapter 5. Chapter 5. Okay, check this out. And we're going to read 1 through 13. All right. So it says, let me make sure I'm sharing my screen. Okay, wonderful. Let me zoom in a little bit more. All right. It says, the tyrant Antiochus, sitting in a state with his counselors on a certain high place and with his armed soldiers standing on him, ordered the guards to seize each and every Abari or Hebrew and to compel them to eat pork. Okay, just like they did in slavery, same people. Yeah, okay. Anyway, to eat pork and food sacrificed to idols. If any were not willing to eat defiling food, they were to be broken on the wheel and killed. So they had a torture device for every Abari, Yasharali, Yahudi that did not eat this swine's flesh. Okay. When many persons had been rounded up, one man, Alazar, by name, leader of the flock, was brought before the king. He was a man of a priestly family, learned in the Torah, advanced in age, and known to many in the tyrant's court because of his long career. When Antiochus saw him and said, "Before I begin to torture you, old man, I would advise you to save yourself by eating pork." Okay, you see that? Just like when you think about, oh, well, your name's going to be Toby now. No, my name's Kuta Kinte. Okay, I'm going to beat you until you say your name is Toby. You don't want me to unalive you and hang you from a tree? Or you gonna do this work? Or you gonna eat this swine's flesh? Or you gonna eat the food? Or you ain't gonna speak that language, or I'll rip your tongue out. He's basically telling this man, I'll torture you, but you can save yourself by just eating this pig. Oh. Gosh. I would advise you to save yourself by eating pork, for I respect your age and your gray hairs. Although you've had them for so long, it does not seem to me that you have had a philosopher when you observe the religion of the Yahudim. When nature has granted it to us, why should you abhor eating the very excellent meat of this animal? Do you hear what he's saying? Do y'all see the impiety? Yes, Marquia, exactly. Same thing. Roman Catholic Church, same people. Spanish Inquisition. The auto de fe, burning us alive, torturing us. I'm sorry. I know I keep doing that, but it's just, it's crazy. When nature has granted it to us, why should you abhor eating the very excellent meat of this animal? It is senseless not to enjoy delicious things that are not shameful, and wrong to spurn the gifts of nature. It seems to me that you will do something even more senseless if by holding a vain opinion concerning the truth, you continue to despise me to your own hurt. The gaslighting. When I read this, family, I think a white man. I think what they did in slavery, I see the exact same folks. All the same people. Maccabees. This particular one we're reading of, this is I believe this is Antiochus. Antiochus was a Macedonian. So you had Grecians, you had Macedonians, you had some of the Edomite Pharisees. It was a coalition of these other folks coming at us. And then you had some uppity, bourgeois Negroes that were of the tribes of Yasharah. So you had a lot of different people working against us that had made covenants with the heathens, even our own flesh and blood. So now look how impious he's being. Will you not awaken from your foolish philosophy, dispel the emptiness of your reasonings, and adopt a mind appropriate to your years? Philosophize according to the truth of what is beneficial, and have I compassion on your old age by honoring my humane advice. For considering this, if there is some power watching over this religion of yours, it will excuse you from any transgression that arises out of compulsion. Do you hear how they're mocking the Most High? Family. Oh my gosh, I can't read this. I'm gonna get mad. I know this was a year ago. I know this was years ago, ancient times, but I want you to connect the dots to what the white European Edomite Christians did to us, and then look at what the Macedonians did. All right. We wrestle not against flesh and blood. The only reason why they're the exact same way is because it's the exact same spirit and it's the exact same devil that was working through them. Shalom to everybody. I love you all. May the Most High bless you all. In the name of Yahusha, I'm out. I'm going to play this song that I'm working on. I love you all. Shalom.
Trust the Most High, Yahuwah.
Hey, youngsters.
The Lamb of Alua and Yahudi, nothing is all can do to me.